And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple Power. We're doing a special men's improvement discussion today. The number one show in the world for dating today. Make sure to like the video on y'all's way in and subscribe. Please hit that notification bell so you can see every time a live show comes up. Follow us on the podcast Instagram as well. And we're now live to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, and YouTube all at the same time. If you want to show support, you can do that by hitting the join button under the video to become a YouTube member, which comes with some emojis for a show, or you can super chat in any questions that you have for the guys today. We're now on all audio platforms as well on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And make sure to add the Instagram right now so you can go add these guys right now because they definitely are showing a lot of support by coming on the channel. So we need to go support them back. Anybody that's looking to learn how to utilize AI or network skills, please DM me info on Instagram and we can get you your call booked for Emergent Values Mentoring. Shout out to my producer, which is me today, guys. I am the producer. As y'all can see on the panel, we got nothing but just a nice looking guys. But yeah, so to start off, guys, we're gonna just have them introduce themselves. Well, actually, shout out today is going to be sponsored by philfosterfitness.com. Shout out to Phil Foster, man. Everybody needs to go check his stuff out right now. I've actually been using his products. They've been amazing. I got to say, I got into the whole phase of working out and stuff just because of his products. So I really appreciate you for all that, bro. It's been really awesome. But yeah, everybody, please go check that out at philfosterfitness.com. Okay. But to start off, let's start over on the right side of the table. Yeah, so Humble Dad, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, bro?
I'm Humble Dad. Humble Dad podcast. We talk about marriage, relationship, and fatherhood.
Nice. Okay. Next up.
What's good? Street hymns, doing hymns for the streets because the streets need him. I am a battle rapper, spoken word artist, musician, and I guess I'm also a podcaster. So I do a podcast every Sunday night with two other guys, Elisha and Caleb, and we have a podcast called Black Men Do Talk, DUE, and it's overdue conversations from a black man's perspective. So tune in every Sunday night. Yeah, we do it live in Dallas for the live studio audience. So yeah, tap in if you're ever in the city.
Yeah, y'all tap in. He really has one of the coolest shows in Dallas, guys. There's not a lot of people that are doing the live sit-ins whenever somebody's doing a live show. But yeah, shout out to you, bro. What's up?
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Next up, Phil. What's up, bro?
What's going on? You can find me at philfosterfitness.com. You can also find me at philfoster_ on all socials. And my YouTube channel is Phil Foster's The Growth Cast. You can find me there. Channel's been kind of quiet, but I'm going to start developing that back. It's great to be on this panel with this group of guys here today. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Sergio.
No, thank you for coming, bro. I really appreciate everything that you do. But yeah, next up, what's up, Nuke?
What's going on, guys? I'm Nuclear Calillo. You can just call me Nuke for short. You guys can find me on YouTube, Calillo Nuclear, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, pretty much all the same. I give red pill and dating advice to younger men, and I'm glad to be here. Thanks, guys.
No, I really appreciate you for coming, bro. He's a big person in the space. He's coming up fast, guys. So everybody needs to be on the watch out for Nuke. But yeah, to start off the show, guys, today we're gonna talk about fitness a little bit to start. I mean, we have a fitness guy here. I know Nuke is really big in fitness, so this is gonna be a really fun startup. The first thing I wanted to bring up is, I heard them talking about it before the show. I want to talk about TRT a little bit, and if men need to get into that, is there natural options, stuff like that? Our first question, let's do TRT is testosterone replacement treatment. For those that don't know, it's for guys that have too low of levels, so then you can boost yourself back up to where our natural levels were, 50, 100 years ago. So for first question, do y'all think that testosterone is a need for men today? Is it something that every man probably needs to be supplemented with in some way, shape, or form? Well, we're going to start off over on the right side of the panel with Humble Dad, though. What do you think, bro?
Man, my answer's short. Like, I don't know much about it, so I'm going to have to, first of all, listen and see what the information is. But if I just had to answer with no information, I would say that, wherever they are, wherever they are, they should, first of all, go to a doctor and find out what's wrong with them, if there is anything wrong, and then go from there, as opposed to just going off of what they heard or what they saw.
Okay. No, good point, bro. What do you think, Street?
Yeah, same sentiments. I suggest going to a doctor, preferably for something like this, maybe an osteopathic doctor, somebody that strives more for the holistic curing side of things rather than treatment. So, yeah, testosterone is important in men because it is what drives our competitive levels. our daily routines, our libido, things that make us go, things that make us and give us energy. So I feel like from what you eat, how you diet, how you fast, and also you're basically what you're intaking for the purpose of being able to produce at high levels. It's important for men because I feel like most men just, from what I've seen, are complacent and content in where they're at and don't see far beyond that. I think there's a lot of things that are in our society that causes that, and also within the mental health aspect of what men are going through and not being affirmed in. And so a lot of men are just experiencing things that don't give them the even wherewithal to know how to have a drive. So I think that things that can help from a supplemental aspect are definitely important.
Okay. What do you think about this, Phil?
Oh man, I could go on for years about this. I will tell you this, that testosterone in men is the man fuel. If you're lacking in testosterone, you are not truly a man. You have been beta-tized by the system 100%. The system, and what I mean by that is the food you eat, this lack of sleep that you have, the amount of stress because of your job, everything is attacking your endocrine system. So for me, I would say 100% definitely get your levels checked. I've got clients that are like I was telling Nuke here just a few minutes ago, 22, 23, 24. It's not necessarily age specific. It's your endocrine system. So I would 100% agree and promote, like I do all the time, that all men get their levels checked, all their hormones, because it is so paramount for men to have their T levels on point. Most guys walk around subpar, and what I mean by that is like less than 500 deciliters per nanogram. And so the thing is you got to understand is when you're an optimized male, you're a male that's doing things in this world. If your T is low, you have no drive. Like this gentleman right here next to me was saying, you have no purpose really. And so it's important that you get that checked. So 100% testosterone replacement therapy. I've been on it for 10 years. It was a frigging game changer. 100%.
Would you say that, like, what was the biggest change whenever you got on it 10 years ago that, like, you noticed immediately almost?
Well, first thing was mood, and then I would say my memory. I had really bad memory fog. And then once that happened, my drive level started really coming up. Like my pursuit to succeed definitely rose to a level that I was like, dang, I've been asleep for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
And so once again, I was 39 years old when I started it, and I've been on it. It'll be 10 years September 1st. So I will tell you that, the physicality and all these things that come along with being optimized is your body is running at a level that it should be running at. If you're running around sub 500, you're hurting. Honestly, they're on a bad day, I'm at around 1100. So it's I'm telling you that you are leaving money on the table 100% if you do not get your levels checked and get it treated.
Yeah, literally leaving money on the table. That's a good way to put it, actually, is leaving money on the table. Nuke, what do you think about TRT replacement treatment and stuff?
I mean, the world is attacking testosterone every day, in the foods we eat, just the water we drink, how we're treated at work, how we're treated in society, and there's got to be a way to fight back. And I think this is the ace in the hole for a lot of guys, where then the thing is with low testosterone or lower than optimal levels, like you don't know because it's just so normal. It's your day to day, so you don't understand why you won't understand the effects of good testosterone until you get that good testosterone off of TRT. So from what I've heard, it's like the world gets more colorful. Doing stuff feels good. Like getting stuff done feels good, more rewarding. So that, creates a reward loop in your head and you just get more stuff done. And eventually that translates to more money, more friends, more women, whatever your pursuits are. And it just makes life worth living. So I know a lot of guys are like, you have to do it naturally. You have to sleep more, but it's just the world is just attacking testosterone. The world is attacking masculinity, by extension, testosterone. So you want to fight back. Obviously you will optimize your sleeping, gym, diet first, but TRT is the future, and I think it's good for men.
No, for sure. I want to ask you, because you go to the gym a lot, right, Nuke? Or like you're like
4 or 5 times a week. Yeah.
Okay, and like, how old are you?
34.
Okay. What's like, since, because you're not on TRT right now, correct?
No, I'm not.
So like, as a 34-year-old, you're up in that age. you're able to you have a lot of drive to go to the gym and stuff. Do you feel like you really need it because because it looks like you have a lot of drive, like you have the drive to go to the gym and stuff. Like, do you feel like it's something that like you really need in your life, just thinking personally?
Well, like I said before, like I have no problem in the bedroom. I have, I do have my drive. I'm getting stuff off the ground in my life. I do kind of, you know, but you don't know until you get your blood test done, because there are some things that could slip under the radar that you think are normal, like, you may be moody all the time. You don't understand why, or you may be emotional for no reason from time to time. You'd be like, wait, what's wrong with me? So I think every man should, at least start pulling the string a little bit and getting in there, because yeah, you can deadlift 315 or 405, but then the next day you're like getting an argument with your girl over nothing.
Yeah,
You
failing shit test.
yeah, that 405 deadlift could have been that caffeine that you took, that you blasted your nervous system with caffeine and it got you there, but you don't know that you have low testosterone because there's other things masking it. So every guy should, like, at least in the early 30s, and you know what? Every guy at any age from like 15 all the way to 100 years old should get their blood work done. What, Phil, like twice a year, every quarter?
Yeah, so like I would recommend minimum once a year, but it'd be ideal is every 6 months, to be
Every
honest
6
with you,
months.
especially if you're not being treated for any kind of testosterone deficiency. If you want to monitor that, I mean, the blood work, I mean, you can get it anywhere. I sent you over the link.
Right.
Maybe you can share that on socials or something like that. But it's important to understand that it's the certain kinds of labs that they do, right? It's the specific numbers that they're looking for to get the general picture of where you are as a man hormonally is what's important.
Yeah, and like Street said, like, talk to a doctor. Doctor, that's what their job is, to inform you. And then
Not a primary care though.
yeah, not a primary care. And then when you get that paper, ask every question, like, and then if you got to take a pencil, paper out to, like, ask every question, get educated, talk to guys who are on it, like, do the research, put some work into it, because this is literally your life, your money, your friends, your job. The women are all those people are depending on you. So why not, do the work so they can depend on you? So
Yeah.
What's wrong with primary care?
Well, primary care is 100% about the sick care system. They want to keep you sick. They want to keep you on pills. So testosterone,
treatment.
yeah, 100%. Let me give them a pill. Let's not address the problem, right? So a lot of guys, unfortunately, they are being treated for depression, right? When really, if they just got their hormones in balance, they're like, boom, their world is like, man. They wake up. It's like, man, I'm winning on this, and this now, and so. 9 times out of 10, I will tell you, and I have literally helped hundreds of men and hundreds of women over the past 4 to 5 years that they've been on all these medications, whether it's for diabetes, depression, anxiety, all of these things. And once we got their hormones in check, and once we got them eating correctly, and once we got them living a life of purpose, that all fell away. All of those markers that those pre-existing conditions that they had, those pre-morbidity conditions disappeared, man. And I would say about 95% of them. Now, some of those deficiencies and problems that they had were genetic, and they couldn't escape that. But still, overall, their life was improved. And so the sick care system just wants to keep you making them money, my friend.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was just, for the general public.
Yeah. It was a good devil's
that's why I
advocate.
said osteopathic doctors. OSTEOPATHY. Osteopathic.
Man, I couldn't spell that awesome job.
Yeah, it's basically
Spelling
it's
bee
basically holistic. Like, but they really do a good job of asking you the questions of where you're at. Like, I had to take somebody to the hospital recently. That's my family, and literally they pricked them and asked a couple questions. Went out, come back in every 30 minutes or hour. So I'm just like, are y'all really caring about the issue here? Like, there's something going on in his body that's also going on in his mind. That's also going on in his heart. That's also affecting his spirit, and they just want to know, okay, how do we get this done so we can get to the next person? It's never, you never want to take it personal, because it's the system that they're a part of.
it's a business. Yeah.
It's a business, and they're working.
So why
for
not
that
take
business.
it personal?
Well, because a lot of times people are connected to the systems that they're with and don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. And I don't blame somebody from a personal level in their heart, because you're just following what somebody else told you. That's why I hold leadership to a higher accountability
Oh, I see.
status. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more upset at the people that are funding the nonsense
Okay.
rather than the people that are following the nonsense being funded. So you never want to take it personal with that the doctor, the nurse, or things like that, because they're just doing their job and they don't know much beyond that. There are those who care, and they'll actually be the ones that verbalize their care in that moment, but other people just follow the system. So yeah, like actual doctors that seek because even the osteopath doctors, they're actually involved in modern medicine as well, but that's like the extreme. It's like, well, do we actually have to just give you depression pills, or are there things in your life that actually could improve if you just talked about this, focused on this, read this, did this, meditated on this, things like that, man. So I think,
where would you find somebody like that?
oh yeah, just look up osteopathy.
And that's it.
Yeah, osteopath doctor.
Osteopathy. Yeah, I've never even heard that. I actually want to play devil's advocate also on this just a little bit, because like I've been looking into Grego Gallagher stuff. He does a TRT supplement that's all natural. It's different anti-estrogen compound, or different plants that have anti-estrogen compounds, and then different plants that have like positive testosterone compounds. And so like I really like his idea. I went ahead and ordered just to see how it goes, because he did a special recently. I just want to test it out. I also did the better sleep, focus on sleeping better, focus on eating better, focus on doing all these things at the same time. Now, like what age would y'all say that like a guy should start focusing on doing these type of things, though? Because like Phil was saying, 22, 23, there's guys with low levels. Should they immediately go to the needle, or should they think about a natural source first and then fixing all those other things like you were talking about, street, or should they go straight to the needle? Let's start on Nuke's side this time. What do you think, Nuke?
In terms of
we're saying those young guys, like 22, 23-year-old guys that have low T.
in terms of like getting tested, I think every guy should get their blood work done as soon as they finish with puberty. As soon as I say 18. I mean, guys, puberty probably stops at 21 for some guys, but like as soon as you go through puberty, getting your blood work done, it should be priority. Twice a year, like Phil said. When you're younger, you should be good. If something's off when you're younger, there's probably something really wrong in your life. But I believe that as you get older, it's more justified to jump straight to the needle. But I will say, if you've done everything right as a young guy, and you're eating your red meat, you're sleeping, you're not around too many women, okay, you're not. You're around young hot women. Yeah, young hot women. That helps too. Apparently, yeah, there's research done that if you're around young hot women, your testosterone goes up, right? If you're doing all these right things, then yeah, it's like step one, step two. Step one, optimize, and then step two, go straight. Go to the needle. With doctor under a doctor's supervision.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah.
I would agree with you, Nuke, on that 100%, because you're in your mid 30s approximately,
right, yeah.
somewhere. I'm not going to really reveal your age, but
I did already.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, it's like
34,
really careful with that. But see, like the reason why I say that might work for a guy in your demographic is because, unfortunately, with society, I mean, these kids that are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. They definitely operate from a position of feelings, right? So they're already beta-tized 100%. And then you look at the food that they consume. You mentioned eating clean and taking care of yourself. 99.9% of anybody under the age of 25 does not take care of themselves.
They probably don't even know how to make a steak.
They're vaping, they're drinking, they're eating fast food 3-4 times a day. They aren't eating those wholesome, nutritious meals.
Not even getting sun, right?
Yeah, and they're not exercising because it's too hard.
Yeah, they don't even have male masculine friends either. They're
and so I was talking to somebody on social media about this. I mean, it's perpetualized that men become feminized in the long-term strategy for the system, because low T men are easier to control versus high T men are extremely hard to control.
They get fired more.
Yeah, 100%, because you are not going to be adverse to making those tough decisions. You're going to make them and run. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so I would say younger guys that have taken care of themselves, those natural strategies might work for a time being. And I encourage younger men to try that. But I will also say that I've seen these younger guys that have abused their bodies, from a young age. Mom's given them, the iPad and the goldfish in the car and the M&Ms at the grocery store, and then, oh, we're going to get Chick-fil-A on the way home because you've been a good little boy. And if
reward them with
yeah. And so they've completely wrecked these children. Okay. And so I would say that those guys, they really struggle with the homeopathic or natural aspects of doing that. Now, guys in our demographic and older, yeah, I mean, that might work because let's face it, mom took care of business.
Yeah.
Mom, what didn't have hurried woman?
We skinned our knees when we were kids and got up and kept playing. Yeah.
Boom, there you go.
No,
Yeah.
perfect. No, Phil, I was going to go to you next on what you thought about that. Is that all you think about that when it comes to like choosing, if you're a young guy? Because I have a lot of young friends that are 21, 22, 23. They're all on that Greg Gallagher stuff. Like they're all on like the go as natural as possible, you know? Do you still have like that opinion? Like try that if you're young, but, you know, be prepared to go the other way.
You know, the one thing that sticks out to me the most is reducing estrogen, because young guys, they suffer from elevated estrogen and moderately high or low medium testosterone serum in their blood. Okay, so eating things with DIM in it, you know, these supplements that you'd mentioned taking from this gentleman right here, it reduces estrogen. Mm-hmm. I guarantee if you look at the label, it's got DIM in it. That's a natural compound that comes from broccoli or cruciferous, I can never say it right, cruciferous vegetables, like green vegetables, okay? So I would say, yeah, that's going to reduce it maybe 5-10%. But I also will tell you that long-term studies show that you're actually wrecking your endocrine system more by not treating the underlying issues. What are the underlying issues of you having low T and high or elevated estrogen? What is causing that? What is driving that? Stress, lack of sleep, food intake, and the poisons you're putting in your body on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So you might get anywhere from 5 to 10% an increase or decrease, but that's about it. So when you're talking about a guy that's got testosterone levels in the 500s, he might end up at 550. He's still going to feel like shit and his levels are in the toilet.
Yeah, not like 1100 like where you're at, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a massive
1100 on a low day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a low. And so and here's the deal, as we age, it's okay to have lower testosterone. Mm-hmm. Why do you think grandpas are the most favorite out of grandma and grandpa for young girls and young boys when they get older? Because we become softer. We become betatized. It's just part of life. It's the cycle of life. You know, the younger ones come up, they are high T, they start taking control of the family and lead on. So I would say that, you know, in a normal system or society where we aren't eating all this processed food and living this high stress life, we're always in a friggin' hurry, we're always broke, that would work. So 50 to 100 years ago, 100%, it was normal, but now it is not.
Yeah. Indeed. Yep. No, I really agree. I wanted to now go off to another thing that's kind of fitness related. It's something that's huge right now, fasting. Everybody is talking about fasting. Now, I think this is all a cope right now because everybody's broke as hell. They can't buy food. And so everybody's trying to say they're fasting now, but really they're just trying to save money from their food. It's all cope. But what is y'all's opinion on this? I'm going to start with Nuke on this one. What do you think is what do you think about the fasting stuff right now? Do you do any of the fasting? And you know, like if you do fasting, like what do you do?
I did it for a while in 2021. I would just have a cup of coffee and then move on with my day. But then I didn't realize any change. I think fasting is good for people that are severely overweight, that just because fasting ultimately is just going to reduce calories because you're just choosing not to eat, you know. And choosing not to eat is very important for people that are way overweight. So it's basically logic, and a lot of things with the fitness community is a lot of it has to do with, you know, magic pills and magic thinking that if you fast, it's gonna like create chemicals in your body that's gonna burn fat 4 times faster, right? Which I haven't done the research. I did it myself. I tested it on myself, and what it did was I was hungry, but I think if you're a fitness, like if you go to the gym 4 or 5 times, and depending on the time of day you go, I don't get a lot of benefit out of working out fasted. You know, I'm a thinner guy. I'm not competing. So I didn't feel good. You know, so many things like I got more moody, kind of sex life kind of got a little affected. So I was like, okay, let me start eating. I ate a little bit more carbs. I ate not a heavy breakfast, you know, but I had like coffee and maybe some Greek yogurt out the door, right? And then I had my lunch, a light lunch, and then, you know, red meat steak for dinner. And I felt good. So I think instead of like becoming dogmatic about fitness, which is not good in my eyes, you should just try things and don't expect the perfect answer. Just try things out. If fasting works for you, don't get it from me. Just figure it out yourself. be a man, be a woman, figure it out. Hey, is this the best thing for me? Am I getting to where I want to be with this advice? Right? Don't wait for some fitness guru that you don't even know, that doesn't even know your body, your blood work, nothing, your ethnic background, because that affects a lot of your health too, and
True. Yeah.
what you're more likely to suffer from. Just try things, and don't be afraid to fail or to not get less than optimal results. So yeah.
No, that was great, dude. No,
Yeah.
what Phil? What do you think about it? Like, I know you know a lot about this type of stuff.
Dude, I'm literally not bullshitting right now. Almost every one of my clients comes to me and they're like, man, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight anymore. I've been fasting, I've been eating clean, blah, 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 blah. Well, the problem with fasting long term is you literally wreck your homeostatic levels of your metabolism. Okay, there it is right there. You can fast, like Nuke was saying right here, and like we've probably all tried it before. The thing is you can fast for a certain period of time and lose weight because you're being so heavily restrictive. Mm-hmm. Okay, so like right now, like I injured my spine last year, getting ready for a powerlifting competition. So I have not trained in a year. My doctor finally released me for September 1, believe it or not. I get to go back to the gym and start competing again and getting back on stage. So I am actually relatively small right now, like 35 pounds smaller than I normally am. My strategy to not pick up adipose tissue is to go to a 1 meal a day strategy. Now, my feeding window is anywhere from, I will not eat except for one large meal a day. We're talking, anywhere from like 20 to 30 ounces of beef or chicken, green vegetables, carbohydrates, all of that. And so that has been my strategy to stay relatively the same size, about 176 pounds for a year while I'm going through this process of recovering. Now, if you're a spiritual guy and it's like, you do the Ramadan thing or whatever like that, and you need to fast for your religious beliefs, do it. Understand that to lose weight long term, you will never do it. Now, once you may get to a body weight and you choose to stay at that body weight, if you want to go to 1 meal a day, that's fine. Just make sure you're eating purposefully. And if it affects your life, like Nuke was saying, hey, it kind of affected things in the bedroom, my mood and things like that, you need to be able to recognize those things and have that self-conversation in your mind and say, hey, I need to switch things up.
Yep. No, perfect, dude. What do you think, Street? Have you done any research on fasting and stuff?
Yeah, I'm doing OMAD currently. It's 1 meal a day. So essentially I had like a slice of watermelon for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And I may get a smoothie, and that might be everything I eat for today. So I think that addressing it from 3 different perspectives. So the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. From a mental aspect, I think fasting is important for not just men, but also women as well, because it allows you to go beyond what your body is naturally wanting and having self-control and in building mental fortitude to resist. I think that a lot of people within today's society go with what their body wants and then listen to their body solely and not what their spirit and their mind is asking. So I think that it actually builds mental fortitude for you to resist temptation, resist what your body is always seeking out, and having the control over body, mind over body, is important for every person in existence, because nature, although it does lead to what we naturally desire, it doesn't always lead to what will naturally benefit us in the long run. From a physical aspect, when you go into it's called exogaphy, EXOGAAPHY. For those that want to look it up, basically what your body is doing is breaking down the dead materials and releasing them from your body, and that is something that everyone should experience, because from a physical standpoint, right? Even look at the nature of animals. When your dog gets sick, what does he do? He'll eat some grass and he'll chill. He doesn't go to his food bowl and keep eating. It's like, no. I need to rest my body. I need to rest my body. And so what your body needs to do is actually relieve all the dead materials and be able to reset itself. And I think that when people fast, they don't consider minerals, continuing and drinking a lot of water and supplements. Like, I think people still can supplement while fasting. It's the aspect of having larger foods that you're consuming, your body needs, you actually benefits your body to enter ketosis after not eating for 8 hours. And I think that even fasting shouldn't happen before you go to sleep, because just eating a heavy meal and then going to sleep and not being able to burn off those calories, just sitting in your body the entire time and not even working it off, it also impacts you as well. So if those who are fasting should do so in, like, get their meals within the first 12 hours of the day and not the last. And then from a spiritual component, one of the 10 commandments is honoring the Sabbath, because it's holy. And the Sabbath is rest. And this concept that we need to eat 3 times a day, I think, is something that we have been tricked into thinking, just, breakfast being the most important meal of the day, when there's no science behind that, man. But just this overconsumption because we have the ability to eat, so we should eat, rather than, okay, what could I survive off of with today? And most men, especially, you work harder when you're hungry because you have something that you're driving towards, So I think that the spiritual component is keeping the Sabbath, essentially, like giving your body time to rest. There's not a single thing in this ecosystem that doesn't need rest. The land needs rest. The fact that we are consuming so much crabs, consuming so much shrimp, consuming so much things that are actually affecting our ecosystem, because the things that actually eat all the dead materials are what we're consuming so much of them, that the ocean's getting darker and the ocean's getting more toxic because we're over consuming. The ocean needs rest. There's even laws in Leviticus that tell us that every 7 years, we're not even supposed to till the ground anymore, work the ground anymore. Like, whatever grows naturally, but don't put any work towards that. The land needs a Sabbath. And that comes with trusting God as source and understanding that even if I don't work, even if I don't put forth my biggest effort, God will still provide. And I think that's a big spiritual component that people need to understand when it comes to a Sabbath. Your body needs a Sabbath. The land needs a Sabbath. The earth needs a Sabbath. I think that if we honor those things within ourselves and also understand the purpose of the why, mentally, physically, and spiritually, it can benefit us in the long run.
No, that's good, bro. I just realized I totally forgot to ask y'all too on the other side about the natural testosterone treatment. I didn't ask y'all, right?
You didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My bad, dude. Over my head.
You
I
good,
know,
man.
dude.
Not a problem.
Yeah. No, I want to ask this really
I'm
quick.
gonna add much to it.
Yeah, I just want to. Yeah.
I'm still learning.
Yeah. I know y'all don't know too much about it, but I just wanted to grab y'all's opinion really quick on the natural tea versus like doing like the needle, just really quick for a young guy.
Yeah, I think that especially with a lot of my audience, I come from a very church background, and a lot of my followers and people that keep up with me are in the church aspect. What our community tends to do at times is over spiritualize and not address the physical. It's easy to conceptually think we can pray some things away and then that's it. But it's faith without works, and work is in the natural realm. And so a lot of times it's not just the fact that you're just addicted and you can just pray the addiction away. Well, because of something that happened to you in your childhood, because of something that happened to you traumatically, your brain has now formed in a way that's not designed to. So you actually need to readdress those things so you can actually physically change. There's things that could be physically wrong with us. And we have the benefits of modern medicine within America that anybody and anyone should take advantage of, because you might just hit the lottery. And the lottery, what I mean is, you may find something that's wrong with yourself that you didn't even know. And with the scares of everything happening in these last few years of kids dropping dead at 20 years old while doing physical activity, and athletes having struggles with their bodies, like this is a phenomenon that I think that there's a lot of things we need to address, whether it be from, as a lot of conspiracy theorists say, the vaccine, or whether it be from the food that we're eating, the environment, etc. All that being said, there is a cheat code that we have, and that is modern medicine that we can use. So I would encourage those to seek out doctors. And I know that the Black community specifically has a distrust in the medical field just historically, and there's reasons for that. But I think that doing your research and understanding who you can go to and why you would go to them could help us in having more comfortability with getting, as people say, the prick for the purpose of, bettering and understanding your body.
No, for sure, dude. Good point. What do you think, Humble Dad? Just really quick about the about that part, like the TRT thing, and then we'll go back to the fasting.
I think you should stay away from the needle as long as possible.
As long as possible.
Needle like just getting blood, withdrawal.
Oh well,
No, he's talking about like the testosterone
the
treatment.
testosterone treatment, right? I mean, I think doing things naturally, it also is it's a way for you as well to see, okay, this is something that I can do, right? This is a discipline with it within doing things naturally as opposed to trying to get a quick fix. So I think it's important for as many of them already said, you need to seek some type of guidance other than yourself, and not just looking at just not just looking at YouTube and the social media platforms, but actually go to somebody that's a professional and get their I guess stamp of approval, or get some professional help and understand what your body needs, because just to do it just because everybody else is doing is not really intelligent from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. No, I got you. What do you think about fasting, though? For you personally, are you fasting? What do you think about it? If you are fasting, how are you doing it?
I mean, sometimes I accidentally fast.
Yeah, that happens.
That's me too.
You forget to eat.
Accidentally?
Yeah, like
Tell me what that's. How do you accidentally fast?
Working so hard that day.
Yeah, I mean, there have been times
You forget, yeah.
There have been times where I woke up and I know I got to get something done, and I just go directly to my desk and I just start working, and then I probably wouldn't go get something to eat until probably 2:00 in the afternoon or something like that.
That's how I am too, humble dad. Like I just don't naturally don't do it. Apparently, there's some genetics have some type of chemical that makes you hungry sometimes, and like I guess me and you are lacking in that because I don't get it that often at all.
But yeah, I think it's important to fast. I mean, Street kind of took all of my answers.
Yeah.
Exactly what he said.
Yeah.
But from a like for real, when I was thinking about from the mental aspect, it gives you an opportunity to see, can you be successful at something?
Yeah.
Right? Can you deny your body something that you want all the time? And fasting doesn't always just come from food. You know what I'm saying? You can fast from several different things, such as the screen, from women, from not necessarily a
Toys.
job. So
video games. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know where you was going with that.
Video games.
You see how
I didn't even think about it. But yeah.
So it's humble dad, right? That's what you go by, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you then say, since you mentioned all those things, that what you're saying is when you fast from certain aspects of your life or remove those, it's just basically a display of discipline. You're displaying to yourself that you have more will than being weak like the rest. You're displaying discipline in those aspects of your life. Hey, I'm lacking in this one area of my life. Let me display some discipline to myself to further, your
because if you can do it in one area, that means you can do it in another.
Amen. I like it. I like it.
And so, like for me, I do fast on purpose at times as well, because I want to maintain, like you were talking about, I want to maintain my weight. My story is different than most. I lost my wife like 2 years tomorrow. Right.
My apologies, man.
I appreciate it. My first wife. I'm married now. Since June. It's been dope. But I had got up to like 195, right? And so and I was very uncomfortable when I realized after she passed, all I did was eat. Right. And so I had talked to somebody. It's like, one of the things you probably need to do is go ahead and lose some weight. Right. And then the discipline became me working out 4 times a day. I mean, not 4 times a day. Sorry, 4 times a week. I apologize. And what I saw was that there was this discipline that I was doing something on a repetitive motion, and then I began to see change, and I lost about like 15 pounds within two months, and I chiseled up a little bit, and then women started noticing me in a different way, and so that's not fasting, but I knew that because I had that particular discipline, that I could apply it also to eat. And if anybody oh my goodness, I really don't see this, but my homie, he always talks about that I like to eat. You know what I'm saying? And I do. And I asked my kids, so I was like,
I mean, everyone likes to eat. Yeah.
No, yeah, but
I like to eat.
Yes, but at the same time, like it's the way that for me it's I guess it's an activity for me. Like if I could just go and just eat and that be my job. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I would probably enjoy. But I didn't know that until somebody revealed it to me, that I enjoy eating that much. That my new wife, she understands it, and like she cooks, right? As opposed to me having to go and get fast food. So what I'm saying is that when I was working out, I found that was a discipline. And so when I started fasting, I found that I was able to maintain my weight. But also at the same time, I had to be particular in how I fasted, because I tried to take on somebody else's fast and how they did theirs. And my wife told me, she's like, "You're very moody." Right.
Yeah.
So the Snickers commercial is the actual thing, right? You're
Yeah.
hungry, get a Snickers, so to speak. I wouldn't get a Snicker, just saying. But so I would say yes to fasting, but you need to know your body and how you need to fast, because it'll help you discipline yourself, and two, I think it'll help you spiritually and mentally and physically.
Well, have you guys heard of metabolic flexibility? It's what you guys were talking about with like knowing that you don't have to eat. For people that eat a lot, they develop like a kind of like a fear response to when they're hungry.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
them, hunger equals like I'm starving, like something's wrong. I gotta eat, I gotta find food right away. Whereas people that don't always jump, it may not be fasting. It just may be I'm hungry, but I can wait. Like, oh, I'm hungry, I'll just eat when I get home, or I'm hungry, I'll be fine, like whatever. Those people, they don't have that fear response when they're hungry. They're just like, I know eventually I'm gonna get food. It's not an emergency. I don't have to stop this car, turn around, and go to that McDonald's drive-through. I will eat when I get home, or I'll wait 2 hours for my wife to get home so she can cook or whatever, or I can cook or whatever. And I think it's a new thing. I don't know if it's been proven scientifically yet, but it's like metabolic flexibility, where you're just not being hungry is not an emergency.
I never heard that, but I also know they help your wallet too.
Yeah.
It does. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to tee off this before he moves us on. Is that, in streets, correct?
Yeah,
Is that,
street, yeah.
Okay, street. He'd mentioned, for women as well. Men are definitely more metabolically flexible than women are. When women progressively fast over and over and over again, they develop that fight or flight complex massively. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not throwing shade on girls. I'm just letting you guys know that women struggle with that metabolic flexibility compared to men.
Yeah, that sounds like a natural thing.
Yeah. And so girls,
it has to be that way. Yeah.
And so and I think that's just in their biology, the way things are.
Yeah.
So
no, good points, guys. I wanted to bring up something now that's kind of in the middle of the whole group. I want to talk about determinism. This is something that I've been really talking a lot about with the girls on my show. As y'all know, I teach women red pill stuff. That goes both ways. Sometimes some guys hate that I do that. Sometimes people don't, disagree with women learning these things. One of my big stances lately has been that if I bring this up to them, and I shout out to Jesse Peterson, because I learned this from him with a Zerka debate. He was having a really good debate with Zerka, and he was like, because Zerka thinks that he's a cocaine crusader. He thinks that he's going to save the Christians while also fucking models and doing cocaine and stuff. And Jesse brought up a good point. Well, can't you just he was like,
you just said a lot.
No, seriously. You need to watch. It's one of the greatest. Everybody needs to go watch it.
Jesse Peterson, the black dude.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude. So like,
it was wild out there. It's a crazy world out there.
It was a really good debate, though. So what he brought up, though, was he was like, if you believe in free will, why can't you just will your way out of doing the cocaine and fucking the models? And it made me think really hard. And he was like, you know what? People have to forgive their mothers and their fathers and themselves for them to be able to get out of those horrible paths that they're in, to be on their deterministic path. I wanted to ask y'all, the new thing that I bring up to the girls is I'm always like, ladies, y'all need to, forgive your mother, forgive your father, forgive yourselves. And that's how you'll be able to move in the light again. Whatever happened in your past, whatever made you go down these paths that make you sleep around or make you do these things, it all starts, the root of it is forgiving your father and forgiving your mother and forgiving yourself. Now, this is like my new thing that I'm really pushing on all the women, instead of saying they're trying, because I don't blame the women. Y'all all know that I don't blame the women that come on my show. I don't blame them for sleeping around, just like what you were saying, Streets. We can't blame people for their environment. And as men, we are the ones that build the environment. We are the ones that shape it, and they're the ones that are just moving through it deterministically. What do y'all think about determinism versus free will? Do you believe more in free will or more in determinism, or do you think that life is a mixture of both of those things together? We'll start with Humbled Out on this one, actually.
Man.
Got philosophical here.
Okay, man, you said a lot. Okay, so the question basically is, do I believe in
free will or determinism, or something in the middle?
I believe I'm gonna just look at it like this. I believe that most of it is free will, right? And that God allows our free will to intertwine with His will, because there are times when you're gonna do something that nobody ever thought you would have done, but God knew that you was gonna do it, and He uses those things uh, ultimately to get you to come back to Him, right? So I believe wholeheartedly that we all have the opportunity to decide what we want to do. All of us decided we wanted to come here today. Some people said that they're not going to come today.
But didn't I influence y'all to come here today?
No, you did not influence me to come here. You asked me, right? You asked me, and my decision was a yes. Uh, there are people that can be influenced or swayed. You know what I'm saying? It's not as if I got money to come here or something like that, or I knew somebody was going to be here, so I said I'm going to come. No, my purpose in coming was to talk with dudes about how can we make other dudes better, right? That was my intent for being here, and so that was my free will that I used to say, you know what, even though I'm gonna have my kids with me, I'm gonna bring them with me.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to you, Humble
You know what I'm
Dad
saying?
brought his kids today too, guys.
You know what
Do
I'm saying?
anything to do the show.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. So that's my decision, right?
Yeah.
So I think that more people need to think about the decisions that they're going to make, and what does it look like long term, right? So you got the will to do whatever you want to do, but what does that decision? How will it affect you later on? And I think that's where a lot of people have trouble, that they don't think about what it is that they're thinking about and what will be the ramifications of that. I mean, we're talking about currently about weight, and we're talking about fasting. We're talking about being healthy, right? What's the ramifications of you being healthy, right? You're going to be able to more likely live longer, right? You're going to be able to attract different types of people. People like dealing with people that are healthy. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From any particular point of how you look at it, I'm in education, right? They look at me differently, right? When I walk into the room and I look fit, right? You can just tell, right? And then the people that are not fit, you're like, man, what's going on? Why are you not doing something, right? So I would say that they chose not to work out. That's what it looks like.
What
So,
if you were born in India, would you have been a Christian or a Hindu?
would I have been? It all depends. I mean, there are
But
Christians and
that's why I'm
Hindus.
saying it's a deterministic path, because we can't choose like what route we always go on. Like
You
if
see,
you were
but you know
if you
that
were
there.
born in India, you would have been a Hindu.
No, I
You-
lived in India for 6 months.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if you were born in Iran, you would have been a Muslim, and it's
Nah,
not your choice. It was because you would have born in a Muslim family.
that's what I'm saying. That's not true. Like my late wife, she was born in America, and she wasn't born into a Christian family.
Yeah, but I'm just explaining to you that there is some things that we can't control. Like I don't blame a person in India for being a Hindu. I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Oh, you're not Christian. That's you suck." I'm going to say, "No, he was born in India. So he was a Hindu because that's where he was born. His family and his environment created him to become a Hindu." And so like we can't blame them for that. This is what like the environment makes us who we are. Like the environment is your destiny.
Well, then
We
that's a contradiction of why you even want us here.
No, because determinism is a good thing. We're all moving in a deterministic path. We're all moving towards something. We're all moving towards creating something that's going to make men better, make the world a better place. I don't think there's anything wrong with determinism or anything, as long as we're the ones creating the environment to be as best as possible.
So you're saying that, but this is what I'm saying though. The free will is having to say, yes, I want to change. Because if you're saying that I'm a product of my environment, my environment is not good, and how I was raised was not in a good environment. But who I am today is because of the choices that I made outside of what I was in. I was raised by a single mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was from the hood, right? And then I had to basically take care of my siblings, right? And then you fast forward to now, I'm in a situation where I did lose a spouse, right? I have 4 kids, and now I had to. If my environment would say that I would be, what was it that my kids would have went into the adoption agency, or they would have went somewhere outside of me. But my will was, and my determination was to say, you know what, I know who I am, and I know what my kids need. So my decision is going to be what is in the best interest of us together and them independently. So that's a free will, is what I'm saying.
And do you think life is 100% free will, or do you think that there is a mixture of the two?
Yeah, I'm gonna just go that it's a free will. As far as like your parents in front of you, they had decisions that they made, right? And you're a product of those decisions. But once you get to a particular age, now you have your decisions that you gotta make.
It's all free will. What do you think, Street, about this?
Yeah, I think it's nature and nurture. A blend.
Yeah.
I hold individuals accountable for free will because every decision we make. I think it's important to address the fact that when it comes to systems, people are the creators of systems. So, yes, I will create a system of religiosity within my house. So, naturally, what most likely will happen is that my kids would become a part of the same system that I have created. And depending on whether that system is good and beneficial is the real question at hand. I wouldn't build a irrigation system and then also keep trash heaps near that irrigation, because the people that would go and just dump their trash would go to the trash heap. So should I blame the people for now causing the water to be toxic when the trash gets overflowed and stuff like that? No, I have to then deconstruct and say, all right, well, maybe we need to redo this and take the irrigation system or move that, help that out, put some ways to make it cleaner, or just remove the aspect of how close in proximity this trash is. So yeah, holding systems accountable and holding creators of systems accountable is very important because it's people that can create determining systems where people live as individuals. So I think that it's important to address the fact that yes, we all have free will, but I'm also not going to exclude the fact that there may be a systemic thing that's impacting you in your everyday life and everyday decisions. But I'm also addressing the fact that that system can be reformed, destroyed, or improved, which is when it comes to any type of most systems, you know what I'm saying, that people are a part of. But this does not relieve the individual of responsibility by any means. I think it's important to be holding yourself accountable and not blaming anything else aside from yourself when it comes to things that you did to mess up intentionally. I think there's a important distinction when we talk about the word mistake. When somebody does something on purpose, that's not a mistake. That is an intentional wrongdoing, what we call a sin. A mistake is something that happens where you didn't intend to do it. In fact, it's kind of crazy. In Leviticus, there actually was no atonement. There was no forgiveness of sins that you committed on purpose. Like you couldn't make a sacrifice to a goat or a lamb for committing adultery. It's like, oh, I accidentally slipped up in that. It's like, no, you did it on purpose, right? And there's accountability needs to be held for that. You either get killed or you get exiled from the community. And for situations like that, I think it's important to address the fact that individuals should be held accountable, but that's also based on who they are, how they are, and where they are, which is why I strive to be a gracious person that has a foundation of justice. So I hold people accountable to the system that's there, but also show grace and extend grace because I understand how much grace I've been given.
Yeah. As somebody, that's in the church all the time, Jesse, he brings up, because I guess he used to be a pastor and stuff like that. He brings up, that you have to forgive your mother, your father, you got to forgive yourself. And like, when you look at the root of that, like it even really helped me whenever I heard that, because, usually some things that are hurting you or that you're moving through some things, or you're doing, like a girl who's hypersexual and she's going through her life sleeping with a lot of men and stuff. It's usually because her father didn't protect her when she was 8 years old and she got raped. It was usually because her mother let her go over to that uncle's house when her mother should have damn well known that that uncle was like that. And so they have to forgive their mother and their father or themselves, because it usually comes back to something like that. Would you say that, like, just from you talking to other women in the past, do you think a lot of their traumas come from, their forgiving their mother and father?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to internal healing, you have to address what's around you. It's because what can be crazy is, now my job, I'm somebody who works in the juvenile detention center system, right? I don't have the luxury of saying I'm going to reciprocate the same energy, or I'm only going to surround myself with peaceful people, or if you're not around me and not benefiting my life, then I can't have you in my life. I don't have that luxury. I work with kids that are broken, and so they're going to push me away. They're going to seek to abandon me. They're going to seek to be vulgar to me and treat me wrong. And what I'm called to do is to be there as a guide and somebody that's loving and gracious towards them. So yes, I'm addressing the fact that there's something wrong inside of you at this moment. But what I feel like the call of those who are light bearers, it's to be light, right? It's the scripture talks about letting your light so shine before men, not on them. So I don't have to sit there and expose everything you're doing. All I gotta do is be who I am around you, and you're gonna naturally change.
Yeah, you're a lantern, not a flashlight.
Yeah. You're going to naturally change. That's if you're around me, you like the people around me literally have just started talking about health because like, man, why are you vegan? Why are you always eating healthy? And why are you always talking about it? Just happens. You're gonna be inspired by the people around you. That is, i.e., creating systems. And so when you create a system that is safe, and somebody's never experienced safety in conversation, they've never experienced safety in being able to not feel like they got to look over their shoulder every time they're around you, then they start softening up their hearts to receive more that they've never even known they could. So yes, absolutely addressing the traumas that happen within your childhood and addressing the traumas that happen in your family, because those are the things that you didn't even realize you were a part of because you grew up in it. And a lot of times we don't even recognize the fact that what was abuse and what was trauma even was that, because it's just so natural to us. So it's important to address fatherhood and motherhood trauma and just family trauma in general.
Yeah. No, thank you, dude. Phil, what do you think about determinism versus free will? Like, what do you side more with, or do you think it's both?
I think there's a mixture of both, but I will say this, if your decision, free will, here's the thing. Free will, like Humble Dad was talking about, you have a choice. You're making these choices. Does your free will or your choices affect me in my life now? That's the thing. Was there transparency? Were you forthright in the poor choices you made for me to make an educated decision? The problem with and what'd you call it? Determinism. Yeah, that's right. I keep losing that word in my mind. Determinism. The thing about determinism, and I got your point about India, is like, okay, well, if you were born in India, you think you would be, Hindu. You know what I mean? I get that. And what Street was saying is, it depends, the systems that are set up, so your poor choices lead to that determinism to put you into that system. Okay. And I'm just kind of, this is what I'm kind of gathering right here. The primary issue I think people have is the integrity gaps from the poor choices they make. They don't want to deal with those poor choices when they get around people like Streets or Humble Dad or Nuke here they're saying, hey, bro, over here, level up. Here, come over here. They don't want to expose those poor choices because that exposes those integrity gaps in their life. So I think it's really a blend of both. I think that the system that you're stuck in causes you to make poor choices, and that's the free will. So I think one kind of feeds off the other.
Yeah. They work in tandem.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, once again, that the primary issue is it's not necessarily about determinism or free will. It's about the integrity gaps from those poor choices that lead you into a system that furthers you down that road, kind of like you were talking about those ladies earlier, Sergio. And that's pretty much what I got on that.
No, dude, thank you. Nuke, what do you think about free will versus determinism?
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, so point A to point B, right? That's what as a man, that's what I'm interested in. What way of thinking gets me from point A to point B? How do I get to be a 22-year-old guy with no life experience, no faith in himself, no faith in anything, to being 34 and building a life, family, businesses, friendships, connections, network? If by me thinking determinism, if I believe in determinism and it gets me from point A to point B, then so be it. It's determinism. If I believe in free will and it gets me from point A to point B, then so be it. It's free will. I think as human beings, it's none of our business. Whatever gets you from point A to point B in a safe, you don't hurt anyone. I think 99% of humans are moral and they're good people. I have a lot of faith in people.
99.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
Did you say that number again?
99. But here's the thing about morality. It's not your morality that they're going by. They're going by a set of morality that's good enough to keep society where we're at, right? But the point is this. You said, Sergio, about that guy in India or that kid in Ohio, wherever part of the world you're from. But I'll tell you right now, there's levers in life that will switch your life around really fast, right? And I pulled that lever. And one you know what that lever is? And it's underrated, and that's the military, right? You'll see knuckleheads, guys are about to go into a life of crime, get picked up by the U.S. Marines, get picked up to be an officer, get picked up to, on a Navy ship. Like me, I was a knucklehead. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to study, but I went into one of the hardest academic programs in the military, which is nuclear operator. Right? They took me and they disciplined me, and they put me into a position where I could not fail. They were like, "You're not failing," and it's just like, was that determinism? I pulled the lever, right? And there's plenty of stories where there's guys, and it doesn't have to be the military. It could be any institution where it takes,
Where's discipline?
yeah,
Yeah.
where men and women, you put them in there, they'll cry, they'll kick and scream, they'll bring all that pain. That's like what boot camp, the psychology behind boot camp is that we don't care about your past anymore. We don't. It's not the past. It's not who you are. Your country, or obviously country of origins, USA, but your race, anything. This task needs to be done, and we don't care about any of that. It's you versus you. So, like, using that example, if you pull the right levers, you can defeat determinism. But ultimately, I don't. It's none of my business whether it's free will determinism, because either way, I have to deal with the consequences of whatever. And I think people, they try to pigeonhole themselves in one or the other. I think it's parallel, like the guys are saying. But ultimately, which way of thinking gets you to point B? Which gets you to where you want to go in life? If the moon is, if I believe that the moon is made out of cheese, and my life is better because I believe the moon is made out of cheese, even though everyone's like, "Are you sure the moon's made out of cheese?" But me thinking the moon is made out of cheese gets me from point A to point B, more money, happier, closer to God, whatever your metric is. Then the moon is made out of cheese. That's all I gotta say.
That's a good way to put it, man. I didn't even think
That's a
about
good
that.
one. Nah. No,
Indeed.
there has
If the
to be
moon is
some,
cheese,
because I think maybe I'm speaking from a position as a dad. Okay, so
You got to set point B.
yeah, I gotta set the standard, and I gotta set the environment. Like he was saying, that's my free will. However, my kids still have autonomy. They still have the choice to do what I'm asking them to do or not. You feel me?
Yeah.
So even if I was raised in the hood, as I was, I still have free will in the system that I'm in. I can decide if I'm going to roll out with my boys. I can decide if I'm going to go with this chick. I can decide if I'm going to sit at the house, right? So that's why I'm saying that it's all free will. Everybody is put in a particular situation. Everybody has a different set of cards. It's determined by you how you're going to play your cards. If you're familiar with spades, I mean, you win with you got to win with the hand that you got, right? And there have been so many different stories. That's why we highlight whenever there's a sporting event, they talk about that person's life and they talk about how they got to where they were, right? I mean, the biggest person that we kind of talk about is LeBron James. I mean, he shouldn't have been where he's at. If you talk about determinism, right? It was a point in time where somebody saw that he was gifted or he liked basketball and it changed his life. His mom was 15 when she had him, right? Statistics are against him. If he goes by, well, I'm a product of my environment, then there's no LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying, and also it's important to cast a blame on people, right? The individuals, the woman that is sleeping around with a whole bunch of people, right? Regardless of her environment, it's different if somebody got her and made her do it. That's different, as opposed to she has an opportunity, right? This man is in front of her. Does she want to sleep with him or not? She, even though in what she grew up in was seeing all of this chaos, she still has a choice to make. Right. If you look at it from a biblical perspective, you had Lot and his wife. They could have did everything that was going on inside them, but the choice was not to do that. Right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Just because you're in the environment doesn't mean you have to partake in the environment.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I really like that we got to get a little philosophical there. Not philosophical, get it?
That's right, man. That's
Phil
right.
Foster Fitness. Shout out to philfosterfitness.com. Everybody, please go check it out. And also like the video if y'all are here right now too. And let me read this super chat really quick before I go. I got a nice, good last question for us. $5. Or wait, did I already read this? No. $5 from Eric G. Fasting won't help you burn fat any faster, but it will slow down aging, strengthens your immune system, and gives you more energy throughout the day. Good point, Eric. definitely some good benefits of it. My last thing I wanted to really talk about, guys, is obviously this panel is kind of split between red pill and kind of more tradcon people, like trying more religious Christians. So like y'all give humble dad and streets usually give good relationship advice that might be more based off of biblical or just religious or tradcon side, and Phil and Nuke are very big about helping in the red pill space, giving relationship advice in that type of area. So what I want to talk about, since we're all kind of similar, but not, we're same but different. So I wanted to see body counts. This is the most thing. But I want to say between tricons and red pills, this is the most argued against thing. Like because we got people like Myron that say guys should get 50 bodies before they get married. Obviously, if we look at the stats, it's like 50% happiness in marriage for both men and women after 20 bodies. So the stats kind of show it's like even. What do y'all think about body count for men and women? Do y'all think that a guy having a high body count is going to be detrimental to marriage or relationships, or do you think that's only for the women? And Nuke, let's start with you on this one, bro.
All right, body count.
Before we not to cut you off, but like I love the 1-1-1-1 format. Is it possible like just do like a discussion? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, if y'all want to do discuss, like, how does it start? Who wants to start the discussion?
Well, start.
Nuke, kick us off, bro.
Yeah, all right.
Kick us off.
All right, so I did a whole video on this. Let's start with the facts, right? Facts. And there's not opinions, facts. You'll never know her body count. All right, can we get that clear? You'll never know. I don't care if she's sun hat wearing, goes to church every Sunday, or she has her body online for everyone to see. You'll never know, right? So, her proving her chastity is her problem. It's not my problem. I don't care what your body count is, because a girl's the relationship is her problem, right? I'm going to be doing me. I'm going to be living my life. I'm going to be taking care of my friends. I'm going to be building businesses, working, taking care of my dog, living life, whatever I'm doing. If she wants to be in my life, then she has to be the one to prove to me that her body count doesn't matter, because I don't care, right? Because if I see downstream effects of a body count, because I'll never know the number, right? I will then make a judgment call. For example, downstream effect of high body count could be psychological issues. It could be stuff that I need to hey, you need to go to a therapist. You don't need to be dating me. You need to go see somebody, a professional, right? So you'll never know that. And then number two, in terms of like men's body count and how that affects us, right? Women are 10 steps ahead right now. Women are finessers right now. That is like, dating these women out here, I have like the women that I date, I have nothing bad to say about them. I have nothing bad to say about women that I don't know online either, because I don't know them, right? I got a screenshot the last 2 or 3 years of dating scene here in Dallas, and I'll tell you, these are what I've gathered. Women are way ahead of us, the average dude, right? The average woman has someone paying, like they're doing sugar dating, right? Or they've been offered a trip. That doesn't mean they're taking it, right? And it doesn't matter. And here's another thing: a lot of guys think it's a certain type of woman that's receiving gifts or getting offered flights or getting offered things. I was dating a concert violinist, super smart Asian girl, 26 years old, very smart, very talented. She has a degree from SMU. She has a culinary arts degree, full ride scholarship, super smart girl, very sweet. She gave me Christmas gifts on Christmas. She is the quintessential traditional girl, very nice, right? Troubled past, right? But great woman. She was getting offers for bracelets and bags and all this stuff from one of her students because she teaches violin. And I had to explain to her, hey, he's trying to buy his way into your heart, and this is normal, right? So how, now that we know that girls are doing, that's just one example, right? But to be concise, now that we know that girls are out there and they're 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead of the average guy, how do we fight back? And when I say fight, I don't mean that in a violent way. I just mean strategically not get fleeced, right? We gain experience with women, right? We read a little bit of stuff, we watch a little bit of shows, we're like, okay. And then the problem is that there's a divergence where some guys are like, I don't dislike women, but I just don't want to get hurt, There's other women, and there's other guys that are like, I'm going to be mad forever. You know, it's a war out here. And I'm like, it's not that it's a war. It's that we are all subject to technology, and technology is messing with our heads, right? There is a lot of women out there that, frankly, have access to lots of men, right? And they will use that lever constantly to get the upper hand, right? And we have to at least protect ourselves. And the best way to protect yourself against that is to gain a little bit of experience with women. And what happens is at first you won't like them very much because you'll be like, oh, all women are sugar babies. All women are sleeping around. All women are this, they're morals. But once you start getting to know them better, you start realizing it's just the temptation is too big. You know, they're getting free stuff. They're getting free dates. Guys are just giving them everything and they're giving nothing back. So it would be bad for me to tell guys, you know, don't sleep around too much because what's the number, right? That's determined by the individual man. Let's put it back in the hands of the individual guy. Young men aren't stupid. They're impressionable, but they're not stupid. You tell them, hey, when you feel like you got enough information on women, then hey, maybe it's time to settle down. Or how about this? You decide when you settle down. It's between you, God, and yourself, like whoever. But we need to stop giving prescriptions to men about when it's okay or what to do with their, with their body. Like, hey, we just don't want you to get hurt. But when you feel you're ready to get in a relationship, it's on you, bro. And you have to do the best you can with what you know and realize it's not her fault. It's not your fault. It's technology. Technology is what made this happen. So that's what I got to say on that.
So you're basically saying body count don't matter.
It doesn't matter if she's a woman worth it not mattering. From what I heard from you,
it can't matter because you won't know it. What matters is what comes with it. It's hard.
But you said that about men too, though, right? That's what you were saying.
For men, okay. It's your problem. It's not anyone else's problem but yours, right? If you have to determine what your number is before, because I can't say, hey, you got to get 50 bodies before you find, before you're ready for women. Like it could be 2.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying that it doesn't matter overall, though, right? So when you say that it doesn't,
it's not that it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that it should only matter to you, not okay. There is psychological downstream effects of body counts for both sexes. I agree with that, right? But you have to have experience.
Says that, bro.
Huh?
Yeah, Red Pill says that.
Red Pill doesn't address the downward effect for men.
Yeah.
Well, every time we talk about that graph where, we'd say like, what is it, 10 bodies and the women, like it drops off.
I don't know. He just said 20.
It's 50% for both, basically for men and women.
That graph,
20 bodies.
That graph only exists with both genders' lines on it.
What's the graph? I'm unfamiliar with the graph. What's the graph's premise?
It's just showing that the happiness in marriage after certain body counts, what the happiness in marriage is, and for men and women after 20 bodies, we both drop to around, I think guys is like 55 and women are like 50%. It's happiness in marriage though. Like how happy are they in marriage with those body counts?
And another thing too, what would you prefer? Guys that decide, hey, I don't want to be married. This was all someone else's idea for me. And I figured that out because I dated some girls and I said, hey, I'm actually happy being single. Or would you prefer unhappy marriage where one of the partners is like, I just did what everyone else told me to do. I'm just not happy. I wish I would have asked out this girl instead of married this girl. And guess what? Men are losing decades of their lives and people are unhappy. Divorce industry is through the roof because instead of telling guys, hey, do what works best for you, figure it out yourself. We'll be here to trade notes with you. Be safe out there. Instead, we're telling guys, do as I do, because if you don't, you're going to be unhappy. And
I would say it's because they don't know the purpose of marriage.
Well, marriage has changed. Marriage has changed.
No, the purpose of marriage was established by God.
Right.
And that's in any culture that you will go to.
But there's no God in courtrooms. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that.
100%.
But what we're talking about, what's the purpose of marriage? That's on the man and the woman.
Well, yeah, I want to be married. I want to be married.
So the creator, who is God,
yeah,
is the one that designed marriage.
Correct.
The individuals that are, if we talk about it as a system, right, the system is fine as it relates to marriage. It's the two people that's the problem, right? So when God said that it should be a man and a woman, and he talks about how a man should act in a marriage. He also talks about how a woman should act in a marriage. The problem is that both parties are not acting the way that they should as it relates to being married.
100%. The feminization of men and the masculinization of women is, I mean, the roles are definitely fucking a friggin' flip. Pardon me, I didn't mean to say the F word.
No problem.
The roles,
passionate.
the role that, and I beat this drum all the time, and that's why I am such a big proponent of getting guys' hormones straightened out. You fix the dude, you fix the family, you fix the family, you fix the community, you fix the community, you fix the state, you fix the state, you fix the country.
That's it.
Tony Evans says that a lot.
Tony Evans.
I mean, you can't refute it, and you're 100% right. The roles are reversed, though. And I think the point Nuke was trying to say is a lot of these girls, it's for the guys to determine, right? 100%. Like what is appropriate for him. The problem is 100% guys they don't have the stones to say, look here, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. And then they're caught in a friggin' relationship with somebody they can't get out of, because they know that when they go to court, they're going to lose half of their assets. They're going to lose access to their children. You know, a lot of things happen. You know, and that's the one big thing I pick a bone with the social media and red pill content or theory or guys talking about it is they say, oh, what red pill damages men? It damages marriage. No, what it does is wakes men up to understand, hey, this is the reality and this is the lie. You make your own decision. You know, but I get what you're saying about God, 100%. Girls don't follow that script. And I don't think men do either. And I think that's why we're where we're at. What do you think, Street?
I think that I definitely agree with what you're saying, and I'm with you even on the aspect of what the red pill teaches. My only thing, this is, I could have recency bias or even like proximity bias of who I'm exposed to. Majority of the red pill men that I meet are average men, and
Thank you. Say, can you? No. Hold. Can he say that again and give him the chime? Say it one more time.
The majority of the red pill niggas that I encounter are all average men, and it's like, and by their own definition, they expose themselves as betas. Like, and for me, and here's the thing: I'm not trying to diss, because I think that when we address what a beta is, at the end of the day, you're going to be a part of systems where you won't always be the head honcho. And so looking at what it means to be a beta, if you work for a corporate company and you're not even a manager, if you're not the CEO, you are a beta in that system. And so I think that understanding, okay, cool, are you content with being a beta, or is there other things you can strive to be, especially when considering where at in the household? Yes, the man is called to be that, not the beta, but the alpha in that situation, because you're the head of the household. But you may not be that at work. You may not be that in other aspects of society. But when we're talking about the production of what I see from Red Pill, I have not been impressed by a lot of the men that I see. And not only that, their interaction with women is awkward, weird, and doesn't even exist half the time. I'm like, how are you so adamant about women and how to get them, and I don't even see you interacting with women or being able to actually secure the bag? And so for me, I'm like, man, there has to be something where you can retain the information, get the knowledge, but also not look towards being the person you're seeing on the screen, but also making yourself the individual that you can with that information you're taking. So kind of going back to the actual aspect of the question, you know, I'm hearing what you're saying, the aspect of body count. I think you're on a component that body count does matter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm always in the middle, man. It's kind of crazy, but with what you were saying, I think I got the premise of understanding that, you know, an individual, irrespective of their body count, can end up achieving and being something outside of what that is.
Assume, don't obsess.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that before? So assume means every girl I meet has the ultimate, is promiscuous, right? Ladies don't like that. I do shows with girls all the time. I had Angela Knight on, I had Trina Nuance, I had Torsha, great gals. They're my friends, right?
Wait, promiscuous and the like has a sexual drive is two different things.
What? Hold on. Do you agree that a promiscuous woman can ruin a man's life?
Yes.
Okay, so
But-
so you treat every gun as loaded, right?
Okay, so here's the thing. I
And
think
hold on, but there's a second part to that, right? And I made a video on this. I said, okay, you treat every gun as loaded. Do you hate the gun? You understand that gun has power and that gun has a use, right? I'm not saying women are
You're
tools,
good,
right?
You're
But
good. Yeah, I get it.
I go out and meet women. I have female friends. I go to salsa night and I talk to women of all ages. They love me, right? I'm their friend. But the thing is, if I ever were to date one of those women, I assume, okay, this girl's getting busy, right? Because everything that she has, social media, no shame in society, as you know, like there used to be. I gotta assume this girl getting busy. And why do I do that? And why do I tell other guys, hey, assume she's promiscuous? That's not to disrespect them. That's not to treat them like lower human beings. That's to protect yourself. It's a loaded gun, right?
But
So you
that's
say,
exactly what's going to happen.
but
If
here's
you-
the
if you-
problem.
That's what's going to happen. You
I
realize
cannot set myself on fire to keep other people's warm, to keep other people warm. So what I do is, okay, this girl's getting busy. That means I got to use protection, which she should be doing anyway. But let's assume that you're a young guy and everyone's saying, no, it's better to not use protection. Like, no, you don't know what she has. Your life can be affected for the rest of your life if you don't do the things to protect yourself. Okay, what happens if you don't use protection? She's like, no, she's only for me. I trust her. And this happened to a couple of my friends last year. They'll come to you, hey, I caught this. Well, I thought you were only with me. No, no, dummy. She's promiscuous. And that doesn't mean she's a bad person. That just means that she fell for the temptation of the streets.
Yeah, I don't date with expectations, honestly. I don't
but
have any expectations or like, hey, I'm expecting you to be this. I kind of gauge based on every interaction we have.
right,
You know what I'm saying? And give grace uh, as accordingly. But when it comes to assumptions, right? Promiscuity can be one aspect that I assume, but I think just assuming human nature. Like,
yeah.
you
I
know,
mean,
like,
you assume
I
dudes are promiscuous too, right? But
nah,
nah.
nah. Like I said, I assume that a human will be a human, so I'm not surprised by human nature.
right,
And am I called or am I somebody that can take the aspect of human nature that you're exposing at this moment, or is this for somebody else? Because I don't think that everyone has to have traumatic experiences. I don't think all kids have to grow up with these I can got it out the mud stories. I
Right.
think we can set our children up to be
right. Yeah.
in good environments and not have to deal with a
That's
lot of
the goal,
trauma,
yeah, that's
right?
the goal.
That is the goal.
Right.
And so if that's the goal, that means it can happen and it does happen. And
Mhm.
so if I'm looking at where I'm actually vetting and seeing women at, yeah, you're going to get loaded guns depending on where you picked it up at. But if you're in a place that is actually has restrictions on weapons and guns, etc., then you're actually going to be able to pool differently. And I think that a lot of times we don't actually place ourselves in situations and places where women are different. You know what I'm saying? And this is why when it comes to the women I talk to and the women I encourage, now mind you, the women don't take the advice most of the time, but I tell them, hey, when it comes to dating, from the beginning of human nature, it's never really been women deciding for themselves who they end up with. And so I think there has to be some aspect of covering.
So
Like I get offended.
So let me ask you
sometimes.
this: when a girl goes on a
Let
date,
me land it real quick.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm concerned when women come around me and my own community and we don't even know the men they're bringing in. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, hey, like there should have been a check-in,
yeah,
right? And I think that
a screening, yeah,
exactly. I think that dating professionals should be like, as much as women push men to therapy, I think men should push women to matchmaking professionals.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? Because
That's a good
that's a covering. That's somebody there that can vet for you and be along in the process. And I think a lot of times, a lot of women just do so by themselves and don't like to involve others in the process when there was typically someone else, most likely a man and two families that are a part of that process. But what are you gonna say, sir?
I'm just gonna say that when women go on a date,
Yeah.
right, they share the location
This
with
is true.
their girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
They should, like,
Yeah.
just for safety, right?
Absolutely.
They tell their friends where they're gonna be at.
Yeah.
What are they doing? They're assuming the worst, right?
Yeah. but
So if a woman
preparation.
if a woman can assume an abuser criminal, then I can assume that she may have an STD. She may have an ex that's looking for her while she's on a date for me. That she's doing all these things. Like she could have several men floating around that could hurt me. it's not that just because I assume something about someone I don't know doesn't mean I hate them or I look down on them. It just means that
But did you
between
look at
me
them
and you,
differently? You look at them different? Like for example,
for an immature man, for a man like
you've
me,
been
no.
speaking for a long time. So listen.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, okay, I don't like to go racial, but let's think of it like this. If I assume that most black people are a certain way,
Mhm.
then I'm operating.
Treat them that way.
You're going to treat them how
Yeah.
you assume them to be.
I understand your perspective.
Okay, as an educator, if I assume that the student that's coming into my classroom is not smart, okay, then I'm going to operate differently.
Yeah.
So you should.
You're gonna have bias.
It's gonna be automatically that
Which
you're gonna
everyone
have
has.
Everyone has it. Don't get me wrong, but if I just look at you as a human, right, and I just treat you as a human, right, and not assume that you are promiscuous, then I can just have fun in the moment. And what is the purpose of why I'm with this lady, right? Am I here to just have a good time? If you're here to have a good time, then what she's doing and being promiscuous doesn't even matter, right? But if the goal is to be married, then it does matter, because how she's going to be operating inside my house is going to be a problem to a degree, right? So I'm also saying that the body count should matter to you as an individual.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you personally. It should matter that you had dick discipline. It should matter that you haven't had a lot of partners, because you're going to compare. That's why he's saying that you're going to be unhappy.
Because one thing, okay, so I think it's important to distinguish between preparation and then operating in assumption, right? So I've gone to environments like clubs like that with people who are super strong, right? And there's a difference between the one guy who's actually disciplined in karate and the one guy who's strong. It's like, man, I wish somebody would slide on me tonight. It's like, bro, we here to have a good time, man. It's like, nah, man, nah. You know, somebody always trying to try me. It's like, you already are in fight or flight. So imagine you're going out and dating in fight or flight.
That's the same guy two different times in his life.
What I'm trying to say,
That's the same guy two different times in his life.
You can prepare yourself for any situation, but not operate as if that situation is happening real time.
So what about this? So say you are dating with intentionality then, right?
Yeah.
Let me just throw this out here real
you
quick.
you laughed when dating with intentionality.
Okay, so say you're dating, okay, you're meeting women, you're having a good time like Nuke here is, you know, and you're mixing it up with girls, and you're like, okay, so you have, say, 3 or 4 girls that you're talking with.
Indeed.
And, you know, it's like, okay, so I'm done kind of hitting the market. And now I'm ready to start being serious with this individual. And she's ticked off all the boxes. Would you not agree that women are exceptional liars? Yes or no?
I think people are exceptional liars.
Yeah, human beings, but would you not? Yeah, absolutely. In general, are exceptional liars. So say you get to that point with this girl, and you have the conversation with her. Hey, I need to understand your past. I need to understand who you are as a human being, and they lie to you.
For sure.
They've sold you a completely different story. And then you enter into the contract of marriage with this human being. Okay, and you have an ideal that she is pedestalized in your mind, because let's face it, if you marry a woman, she's what? She's pedestalized. She's on the top. She's right below you, next to you. Okay?
She got a say in every decision you do.
And then, say 3-4 years down the road, you start noticing the red flags start popping up. Boom, because they can only hide crazy for so long. Okay? And then you find yourself in a situation of marriage with a woman that has completely lied to you, and you completely believed it. So I think that's the premise behind red pill theory and trying to teach men, hey, like me, like when we were sitting out there in the waiting room, 3 times. I'm done. Y'all win.
Okay,
you know? So the thing is like, girls lie, men lie. Okay, but the thing is why would body count matter to a man? The simple fact is why would you want a woman that's had many versus a man that has had many? His experiences with women will actually teach her and lead her down a path of betterment versus the other way around, where she's had many experiences. She could be widowed. She could have, you know, experiences with men and decide, you know, as you're leading your relationship and you want what you want from your girl, no, I'm not going to do that with you, but she's giving it to somebody else. Why does that matter?
Okay, so you said
I can tell you why that
for sure,
matters, because you have 100% secured her future. And so that's why a woman's past is so important to men in the red pill community. What is her past? And when you have that open, honest, and direct conversation with her and she lies to you, what do you do then?
Yeah. I think that encountering people, you know what I'm saying, there are those who struggle with lying, and that is one aspect of human nature. I think that addressing it accordingly, you know, is somebody willing to admit the fact that they're lying on the spot. And it's like, you know, and a lot of times it's hard to do that, but I think that it just takes maturity to address it and then grow from it. From my experience, yes, men will be more likely to admit the wrong on the spot, you know, in my interaction with the people I surround myself with. But that's going in gender dynamics. I'm not opposed to that, but going to what you were saying about finding a woman and then realizing 3 years down the line or even a few months down the line that she's somebody different. Well, I think that is a product of dating an individual. And I think it's natural to date the individual, but I think it's important to date the community. Like, who are your people? Who were your people? Like, if you are coming from a stock of people, you may be able to lie to me. Did you lie to your mom? Did you lie to your dad? I'm going to ask them about you. And you mean to tell me you've been lying your entire life and you fooled everybody? No. Your sister going to be able to, your brother going to be able to, your community, who do you surround yourself with and who do you submit to? If there is
and how do they see you?
Exactly. And what is your community's perception of you? That's why I don't date individuals. If you're dating me, first thing I do, I throw a game night. I mentioned somebody, I throw a game night and I bring around my people. See how she gonna act around my people. And I try to get in an environment where you have people. Oh, you're just, I'm a stay-at-home person. I'm to myself. Oh, well, who do you submit to? Who is somebody that if they told you, hey, don't do this and go here, will you do that too? If there's not somebody like that in their life, that to me is a red flag. So if you date an individual that doesn't answer to anybody, they might be able to fool you, but they're not going to fool everyone around them. But if they don't have anybody around them, that is more show to their character than anything.
But wouldn't the tribe actually protect their...
No.
Well, it depends on the standard of the tribe.
I would say
depends on the standard of the tribe.
I would agree with you on that. The reason why I chuckled is just something flashed in my head.
Indeed.
No, you're good.
You're good. You're good.
It's just...
if the tribe has standards and like that's what to say, like seeing the system of the tribe. It's like, yo, if you're a part of a system that is designed in lies, or you can see it's paying attention to those things. Do y'all enable nonsensical behavior? And if your tribe is enabling nonsensical behavior, then I'm like, this is something that I'm going to constantly wrestle with, because this is what you were grafted in. This is what you were born in. Like, this is something that's natural to your community. And for me, I'm like, man, as the older I get, the most attractive women to me are women who spend time in holidays with their families, are women who love being a part of it, like love being with their nieces and nephews, women who are like, man, I can't wait to hang out with my family. I'm so sorry I can't. Like, that's, for me, I'm like, okay, you love community. Mm-hmm. You love creating community. You love.
Is that a guarantee against promiscuity, though?
It's not about okay. Like,
is that a guarantee? That's what I'm saying.
It's not a guarantee. Like, I think the aspect of like promiscuity is, I will replace promiscuity with the word human nature. Like, right. but specifically with the aspect of body count. I'm not saying body count doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And this is coming from somebody who, by some people's definition of body count, I have zero, right? Like, by most definitions, I am a virgin, right? Mm-hmm. So I am seeking to be with somebody, you know what I'm saying, and experience that time for the first time, right? Mm-hmm. But apart from that, or alongside that, I'm also understanding the reality of the world. Most women aren't virgins. So people always ask me all the time, like, oh, you seeking that? I'm like, nah, man, come on. Like, now, if I find the needle in a haystack, cool. But
you might as well be in graduation when they're getting the diploma. Half the time
you're way ahead.
That's out of the.
You're way ahead of the average man in terms of vetting. Like, guys would just jump in. Oh, she's having sex with me. Good enough.
She touched my pee-pee.
Like, this is prevalent. This is prevalent in the military. Well, they'll get married after a month of getting known. That's
wow.
It's endemic to the military. Wow. They have, they got to counsel guys like, don't do this, because, and then
with other military women.
Yes, it's normal. It's like we don't even bat an eye. We just like, like it. And
That's interesting.
Never marry a woman from the military.
No, don't do it, guys. Wait till she gets
Yeah.
out at least, you know. Damn.
Oh no, she's a bunker bunny. Is
Hey,
that
I
what they
gotta,
call
I
them?
gotta. Maybe it's an
It's that
anomaly, but
bunker bunny.
my homie, he shout out to Quest. His wife is in the military. They've been married for a while.
Yeah, there's
So,
always some good
yeah.
some good gals in the military, and
But she also came from, like he said, a mom and a dad, and he was able to see how they operated in their marriage, and that's what she was raised up in. So that's also what we're seeing too.
right, like no,
So I
it's,
think what's also missing is the culture of which he talked about. Like if you look at the cultures that are doing well, right? Even if you look at it from a religious perspective, if you go to India, right, they're going to be married, even if they're poor.
mhm.
Okay, they're going to be married, and it's hard to get married over there because it's a little bit different.
I
But
think
they
they have
do.
the youngest age of marriage in India.
Right. Okay. And so, but in America, we got dudes talking about, nah, you shouldn't.
Mhm.
Right. When that's the foundation of society.
Right, but what's
And
the
that is
incentive though? What
I
incentive is that?
will.
okay, because that's what I said before. So
Right.
that's why I said that both parties don't understand that marriage is not about those two individuals.
Right.
It's about the kids that you're supposed to be procreating and bringing into society, and then helping them be who it is that God has created them to be. That's why you see in other communities that they're strong. If you look at the Asian community, it's a very strong family knit type environment, and their kids are more successful than most ethnicities. That's why you see when Nigerians come over, why they are so successful because of the family structure. But the red pill community, or just, I don't even want to say it's just a red pill community, but the culture in which we have in America is to not get married. But what y'all not seeing is that is the whole plan, is
Mhm.
for y'all not to be married, because y'all are divided, then they can conquer. Because and they make more money. So the more single people there are, the more money the government makes. Why? Because now you're talking about now your kid is gonna, because they're gonna have kids more than likely. Now you're gonna have a kid without a father, okay, in the household more than likely. Now you got a kid that's going to consider an at-risk kid. By the
Mhm.
third grade, they're building the prisons because they know how many third graders there are that have single parents. Right now, you have Section 8, you have food stamps, you have more sickness and disease. How we
Mental
talking
health.
about how we're eating.
Yeah.
So what you all are actually, I think y'all trying to say you need to vet better. Now, if you talk about it from that position, then that's different, right?
Mhm.
But if you're saying you need to wait to get married, then you're already losing, because that's what they want. They want us to be divided in the household.
But women don't want to get married.
Okay, that's because of men
Well,
as well.
no.
Watch, let me explain, because I do a show about this, right?
Right.
So men have. If we just said that men created the culture,
Mhm.
we just said that, right? There were men that established feminism in the first place because we gave women that opportunity to have that freedom of what it is that they have. Now, a man such as yourself, right? You're allowing a woman to be out and be promiscuous because you say you don't care.
Right.
So that's your fault, because you're not requiring her to hold herself to a totally different standard.
Right. But I can't. Okay. I see what you're saying, and I'm not here to tell anyone that I don't have a part in this, right? But I date young women, right? Latinas, Asian. I like Asian women, um, white women, occasional black women, right? Um, there's one overarching factor with these young women, right? Obviously, when you approach them, you can't be a cornball. You got to be kind of smooth, kind of dangerous, but that doesn't mean a manipulator, right? Let's draw that line. Um, I'm fun, and then I always open the door for a relationship, right? And the Latinas, they cook and clean sometimes. The white girls, they cook and clean sometimes. They do wife stuff. They're tryouts, right? Because the man is the one that the girl has to qualify to you. She has all the power in the beginning, right? But if she wants to be part of my life, she has to put in a little effort. I don't need you to be in the kitchen slaving away. But once in a while, say, hey, I made something for you. Hey, this looks a little dirty. Let me clean it for you. Oh, hey, I wrote you a little love letter. I need to know that you're on my team first, right? And it doesn't have to be, I don't need you to be my. I cook. I'd like to do the cooking in my laundry. I can do my girl's laundry if she needs me to, right? I don't care. I'm not super traditional, right? But the issue is that the incentive for these young women to be in a relationship is so little right? Because all of these women, they are smart. Some of them have master's degrees. Some of them spend the. I'm dating a girl who every Sunday spends the whole day with her family, and she's 25. Great gal. But the thing is, they don't. Why don't they say, "Hey, Nuke, what is this? What's going on? Like, why can't?" And it's always this,
Finish that thought.
Yeah. What is the? You have an issue with her being with the family, or you like?
No,
you
no,
wanna
no.
be
I'm saying
involved?
like
you want to be with the family, or you?
no, no, no. I'm saying that's good. That's to me, that's a good
Okay.
sign. I'm like,
Green flags.
you know,
Yeah,
you like,
yes, this is good.
you ever see Drake at a Toronto game and they dunk the ball? He's like, he starts, you know, he start like that's me because I'm the door's open, right? But I cannot tell a girl who's not invested in me emotionally, who's not like chasing me down to be like, hey, close those legs,
But why would she be?
huh?
Why-
I'm treating her good. I'm holding her hand in public.
See,
Like
that's what you're missing.
She
You're-
is.
You're not intentional about being married. You're asking her to show you wifely type characteristics.
I didn't ask her. I did not ask her.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. All right. You said that you play. You have your intention is not to be married until somebody sparks your interest, and then you're like, oh,
Right.
that's not how that operates. If you're saying that your position is supposed to be, this is my goal. Let me go get my goal. Not let me see what what happens in life.
But it's 50-50, right? She has to come to me.
Here's the thing, especially you being like a podcaster, like you're clearly making your intentions known. Hey, anybody that's dating me, you're going to have to show me that you're the exception to the rule,
Yes.
right? And you got to show me that, right? So I would assume that the women that are approaching you, because you named a few of different types of women, either think that they're the exception to the rule, or because you're not even setting the standard of intentionally dating,
they were the exception to the rule.
If they're the exception to the rule, so what's wrong with them?
Because the fact that they don't want to be with me doesn't make them a bad woman.
Wait, so this is them that after being around you, they didn't want to be with you.
Girl number one, hey, what do you want in a girlfriend? Young Vietnamese girl, 3 jobs,
for sure,
super smart, very dedicated to her family. She sends money to her family,
for sure.
She visits her mom and her dad to help them move, to help them. Good gal, by definition, right? She left me because she asked her friends about me, and her friends were like, I don't like this guy, but I treat her like I had her up here.
Indeed.
Not like a cornball, but like
you treated her nice.
I started elevating her quick, like, oh, you're cooking for me. I'm getting you a dress and we're going out to dinner. That's what I tell
give
guys.
And take relationships,
right? Like you're supposed to do it not because you want something out of her, but because you want to, right? And that's like, hey, I like this girl. She's doing the things I want her to do. I can take her out. I can buy her a $13 dress on Shein, and then take her out to dinner and treat her like a lady. You know why? Because she earned it.
We dating her at the time exclusively?
No, I was not.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
If that's the case, I was trying to say like you're asking her to have a commitment level that you're not having a commitment level of.
Correct? Well, it's implicit, right?
It's implicit that even so.
It's implicit that if a guy like
you found an exception to the. Once I say you found an exceptional woman, and so the exceptional woman is looking for an exceptional man, not just financially. And so if that is the case, when they go back to their tribe, it's like, hey, tell me about this guy. Oh, he's a great guy.
Who's the tribe? Like Humble Dad was saying,
for sure.
It could be bad people.
For sure. But what I'm trying to say is if they have her best in mind for finding an exceptional guy, and an exceptional guy is one exceptionally, as in other words, not the standard. An exceptional man in today's society is somebody that's loyal.
Right.
And will want to treat a woman. And so if they're going to talk to their friends,
I agree with
that means that there's like, oh, well, so is he just dating you? It's like, no, he has other people he's dating to, talking to as well. It's like, yeah, put him to the side.
And
so I would have given, that Vietnamese girl, I would have given her the same advice, bro.
Yeah.
I would have, like, if
but here's
she
the
was
thing,
dating
it wasn't over whether I had other women. It was whether I would let her go to Miami and party.
Well, that's something different.
Yeah, so that's a standard.
See, this is the thing. This is the thing.
She asked me that standard.
I'm with you that too. I'm
gonna disagree. I'm gonna tell you why.
Never have I been rejected by a woman because she even thought I had other women. Matter of fact, it has helped me. And these are women that are good women.
For sure.
And that's the problem, that we need to understand, that women biologically like men that are chose, right?
Yes, but they also want them to be just theirs.
Loyal.
See, this is what I'm saying.
That is true. You're not wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it down right here. What I'm saying to you is, like I said before, your intention is not to be married, but you want a woman to treat you as if you are husband material.
Correct.
But then that's off base, because you're not moving as a husband. You're not moving in the mindset that I want to be a husband.
I am already, though.
No, you're not. Okay, I mean, because I am. Right, I'm actually a husband and have been a husband. This is my second time, right? So I was actually having to be in the field and trying to figure this thing out, right? And so what I'm saying to you is that your mindset is not that you are wanting to be a husband, or that you are and that you're looking to be. You're saying you want somebody to show you that they can turn your mind into wanting to be a husband.
Correct. Yes.
And I'm saying that's the wrong way to approach it.
Let me throw something in here. I think this will kind of mediate the situation, right? And so, like, in conventional wisdom, like in modern dating right now. Okay, so Nuke just mentioned, he goes, that the issue between the two of us was that I said, hey, I don't prefer that you go to Miami and party it up. This is the primary problem that I see day in and day out, and why RP theory is so important for young men. Women expect you to have all of the responsibility for them, and they want to not submit to your wishes. His wish was, hey, I prefer you not go party in Miami. Okay, I'm done with you. And so that's the problem, right? If a woman wants to submit to you and she says, okay, and he is going to be responsible for me, okay, then that's a thing. What you're saying is, okay, they need to do like wifely things to be in his presence. Well, really, she's qualifying for him by doing these things. Hey, this is what my mom taught me. By the way, I can add value to your life by hey, let me go ahead and cook you something. I mean, you've had a long day at whatever you do in the office. You know what I mean? And so, and then Nuke's like, okay, well, perfect. Since you did that for me, I really appreciate that. It's not simping. I would say, hey, I'm going to grab this girl a dress and take her to a nice dinner and just kind of reward that good behavior is what he did. So what he did is he imposed his boundary on her and said, hey, I don't want you going to Miami. I don't want you in that. What was the word earlier we were talking about? Not free will, but
Determinism.
I don't want you in that deterministic situation, because we all know what happens in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
3 back and your legs are in the air. I don't care. You're laughing, Streets, because you know it's true.
Yeah.
You know it's true.
The 3 back got me.
Right. But the thing is so he expressed his boundary and she walked from that. But yet she wants the exclusivity and the responsibility on his part.
That's why I'm saying the issue is. The issue is that he is not willing to be exclusive. Like, he didn't make her exclusive. He didn't say this is just me and you. He said, I have other women, and I'm telling you, one of my women, that you can't go to Miami. Her perspective is, we not even exclusive. Why do I have to submit to you and you're not even exclusive to me?
She's asking me though. She's like, "What do you want in a girlfriend?" I told her I said the only thing, like, you're doing everything
That's
right.
the problem.
I just don't want
you
you to
wanting
go on
a girlfriend,
You're
right?
talking about a wife. You
You
said you want to act as a husband, and that means that a husband is seeking a wife. You know what I'm saying? And so if we're talking about finding a wife, so and mind you, I think the tie up is here, right? Mm-hmm. It goes to standards. Mm-hmm. Technically, I would assume, just based on how you're talking, I would assume that you would never actually have the ability to cheat in a relationship, correct?
Based on ability or based on morally? Like,
based on how you said. In other words, like, she knows I'm going to be I'm going to step outside of her, and so
as long as she does her duty, as long this is religious, as long as she does her duty in sexually as God ordained, then I will be faithful.
Well, no. Wait. So
because it's literally in the Bible that the woman has to keep the man sexually satisfied.
Well, it's when it talks about that, it's a mutual thing. It's
right.
My
and
body, your body, my body. So
right.
Yeah, for sure. So
like my body belongs to her. Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's vice versa. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're going to make a commitment and make the vow for a commitment, I would have assumed, because I've heard this before. I have respect for guys. It's like, hey, she knew what it was when she signed up.
Right.
I'm going to step outside of me and you, and this is the standard I'm setting. So anybody that comes to me know that it's not like Adam 22. It's like, yo, we gonna do that. We gonna swing, right? I respect that. it's hard for me to respect a man who is saying like, hey, I am going to be faithful just as so much as you're willing to do your job. Like, faithfulness is my commitment and my word is my bond. And so if I made a word, even if you are stepping outside of that, I'm going to keep my word, right? And so in your wedding vows, will you say this is our commitment and I'm faithful to you only? Is that something you'd say in your wedding vows?
As long as she does her part of the bargain, I will do mine.
Well, what I'm trying to say is like before the part of the bargain, you make the bargain. That's the contract. I'm saying, right. So based on the contract that you set with her, and then you say before man and God, in your vows, are you going to, now, irrespective of what she does, because she's already shown who she is before that, are you going to say, hey, to you and you only, in your wedding vows?
As long, just like I promise to take care of her no matter what, she's going to take care of me no matter what, right? But it's a two-way street.
Well, and the interesting part about like marriage is, from what I've learned from the old heads and the young people, you're signing up for seasons. Here's the thing about seasons,
right?
Bro.
It's not going to be all peachy, you're going to have downtime.
For sure.
My parents are still married, and I went through it with them, and I understand that. Yeah,
for sure. And so you met a girl who is faithful. You met a girl who
I don't know that.
Well, you asked her to marry you. That's what he's saying. He's bringing you.
Oh, you mean like a hypothetical?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to say the Vietnamese chick,
yeah.
right? Well, like, you were saying she was the exception.
She was.
What was exceptional about her? If she was like
there was only one thing that was exceptional about her from other women.
Which was?
She was qualifying to me. The only women that are visible to me are women that are qualifying to me.
Okay,
and that's healthy. That's how it should be.
Okay, and so you meet a few exceptions. It's just a lot of times those exceptions aren't able to fully accept where you're at in your life. Is that the thing?
Yes, but it's not their fault because there's technology, there's temptation. She went to her girls.
So determinism.
Yeah, well, she went to her girls.
Maybe fighting that word.
Maybe, yeah. I like how we tie it all together. The thing is, like, to this day, I still respect her. I still give her a hug if I see her. I have nothing bad to say about any of the women I dated. Maybe one because I found out she had an OnlyFans behind my back. And even then, I still hug her and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but you messed up. But I still respect. And I respect you, but I'm still polite. And you're still a woman, and you're a human being. And we share memories together, right?" But the thing is, like, when it comes to this stuff about being faithful no matter what, even if, like, what if my wife cheats on me, right? What do I do then?
Divorce her.
Right.
Yeah, but you lose.
But you'll lose.
No, not necessarily.
Depending on the contract you sign.
Well, it depends on
you control the contract.
Right, but like
you got to quit letting these courts write contracts for y'all, man.
What we're doing, right?
One for me.
All right.
They didn't write one for me.
So you feel as though you lost out and the government was the ones who stole, even though like there wasn't an actual like word commitment.
Like when it came to my divorce number 2, dude, I was like, you went to war. I went to war with it, man. I went to war with it 100%. Now, like I told you guys, I won. I kept all my assets. I retained custody of my child. That was a long road. And so, because once again, it's partisan to girls. I mean, it just is what it is. We all understand that they're the weaker sex for a reason, and so obviously men wrote the laws, and a lot of these laws and rules need to change, especially in divorce court.
Absolutely.
I've seen dudes that get cheated on by their wife, end up in divorce court and pay half, lose half, and spousal support and everything else. And she's the one that instigated the divorce by cheating and filing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that's also determinism as well. You see that? I got that word.
Because I'm back to determinism.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, man, you do this in California, it's over for you, man. You're broke.
So I have no desire to get a marriage license from the U.S.
No, I'm not gonna marry with the state.
Never again.
Well, yeah. So, but like in the aspect of I can get a marriage certificate. Like, for example, like, am I less married if I got married in Saudi Arabia and then came to here? And it's like, oh, well, we don't recognize your papers. It's like,
no, it's about love. It's about loving in front of your, whatever.
God and man. I'm married before God and man, and we can have a certificate. And that's a certificate. Even back in biblical times, when there was a divorce, you had to give a certificate, right? So a license, any type of license, is you're saying conducting business, and then you're actually putting the government over your business. And so when you're saying, hey, let's get this marriage license, and hey, by the way, government, you be our CEO, that's what you're doing. And so they're going to be the ones that then end up divvying stuff out depending on their discernment, in their operation of how they view what's going on.
But
So
I got to push on you a little bit, Street,
Talk
because
to
I'm
me.
going to tell you something. Even if you have a covenant of marriage, the state's still going to be involved.
Yeah, because that
with
common
the
law.
license, with the
Without a
certificate.
license, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think
There's
that,
ways they creep in. It's just
well,
it's
what
tough.
that's like so for myself, knowing that my assets are not my assets. Like, there's things that generationally have been built. I'd be foolish to think that, hey, whoever I marry now has access generationally to everything that people that are depending on myself and also have passed down to me
Mhm.
can now just be a part of automatically. No, I think when it comes to things like that, prenuptial agreements are also important. You know what I'm saying? And that's coming from somebody who actually has something that can lose. I think a lot of times people get into marriages, they don't have anything they can lose off rip. And so when you have nothing to lose and everything you built was what you built, and it's not something like, hey, I have a company that my family built. This is my family's name on it.
Mhm.
It's like, why would I even get into the mindset of protecting that asset for my family, etc. Right?
Gotcha. Yeah, no,
I think
there's like there's people that have everything to lose, some to lose, and nothing to lose.
for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the men I see who are successful business wise, they catch their stride around their mid 30s. You know what I'm saying? So this is after they've already been married.
So now that we know about things to lose, why would these girls that I date, that I once they start acting like trying,
Yeah.
and I start kind of like bouncing back and forth, this ping pong ball of like elevating them to the next level slowly. I'm not gonna one day show up with flowers and a ring, but I'll start taking you to dinner. I don't take girls to dinner that aren't worth it. It's all drinks first date. That it's just the way I do business, right? And no woman has an issue with that, and the ones that do filter themselves out, right? So it's not my problem. But the thing is, like, why are these women not committing? Because see, we're talking about our side. Like, a man, like, I wasn't gonna commit at 25 either. I'm I'm just a kid, right?
Yeah.
But 34 years old now, that I'm more established, smarter. I have my life experience. I don't have that much experience, but much more when I'm 25, right?
For sure.
And I
I
still
live back in 25 years.
I still respect patriarchs and guys with family, because my father was a patriarch,
Yeah.
and he raised us right.
Yeah.
20 years in the military, he showed us. I just talked to him this morning. Great man, right?
Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, and my
Exactly.
mom stuck by him too through the ups and downs, right?
That's good.
They've been married since they were 18.
Mm-hmm.
Both me and my brother within the wedding, like within the wedlock, sorry. And they went through it, just like any other couple, right? And they immigrated to the United States, and they said, "This is for our children. We're gonna really work hard to get these kids to where they're supposed to be." And here I am in a podcast with like business owners, high value men, so to speak. If we're gonna use that word.
It's cool. Yeah.
But one of the things that I got like infected with was critical thinking as a kid. Like, kind of like I grew up.
Logic.
I was,
Yeah.
I learned to speak Spanish reading the Bible, so I know a little bit about the Bible. I'm gonna assume you guys know more about the Bible than me, right?
Maybe so. Yeah.
Because I haven't read the Bible in a long time, right?
Yeah.
You need to keep that up, right? But here's the thing with me, right? When you go through different systems, institutions in your life, right? I grew up in Latin America, right? Very different culture here in terms of how to date and women and all that stuff, right? When you go through the military and you see your friends go crazy, try to hurt themselves, try to end their lives, try to, divorces, married in a month, divorced 2 months later, all this crazy stuff, right? It red pills you, so to speak, in terms of you learn the reality of things that your father could never teach you, because your father got married and lived through a time where there was no Tinder, there was no Hinge, there was probably no fault divorce didn't exist yet, right?
So with that though, bro, like, and I'm hearing you, and
Yeah.
I'm feeling you, bro, because I'm with you. I also
No, I understand.
I microdose the red pill. You
Yeah.
feel me? You know what I'm saying?
That's how you should take. That's how you should take it, though.
But with that being said, bro, like, when it comes to the relationships that you actually honor,
Right.
like looking at the relationship of your mother and your father, like, I don't know the inner depths of it, but
Right.
Me making an assumption like, hey, would you marry someone like your mother? Right.
So what's the
Something like
difference
that.
between my mother and this Vietnamese girl, this Mexican girl, whatever girl
So-
I'm talking about right now?
so,
What's
yeah,
the difference?
well,
I
like,
can actually tell you right now.
Well,
I can tell him right now what the difference is. How old is the Vietnamese girl?
She was 25 when we met.
Okay, that's exactly what it is. Your mother was
Man.
18, you said?
18. Yeah.
Everything that I teach men, my whole mentorship is about helping men get younger women, because what does the Bible talk about love, guys? It is devotion. And how
Right.
hard is it for a man or a woman to give devotion to a man if she's devoted to her career, if she's devoted to her boss, if she's devoted to the dollar, or if she's devoted to other things, or another man, an alpha widow? So
Right.
like, it's all about devotion.
Dang, man, throw the
the
ding in that.
but like the higher up in age you go, bro, the harder it's gonna be for you to get that devotion. Okay.
Yeah, I understand. I agree. I definitely
for sure.
agree. Yeah.
So, but with that though, right? Like, because there's also millennial couples and things like that, and older couples, like 40-year-old couples, etc. You can look at.
Mhm.
I would like. These are the people that I look at advice towards.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
I
married people.
love hearing conversations of like stuff like this, gender dynamics, etc. But when it comes to wisdom, I'm getting wisdom from experience and those who have experience and
Correct.
have been able to sustain marriages and relationships. Because now mind you, I don't want to just harp on this, but like when you're telling me you found a great woman,
Yeah.
and the deal breaker for you was she was going to go on a trip, and the common aspect of going on a trip in Miami means you finna get your back broke, you finna do whatever it is,
Get
you
drunk,
finna
put
drink,
yourself in a
you know what I'm
situation
saying?
where you can get hurt, or
be on camera, you
Determinism.
finna have people
Yeah.
pouring the drink over you, you got your mouth wide open with your tongue out, stuff like that, etc. For sure.
but it wasn't
Now-
her. It wasn't her. See, here's the
No,
thing.
wait, let me finish.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Could you see how, by you saying you can't go there because you'll do this, communicated to her that you lack trust in her?
Do you agree that when people drink, they do dumb things?
Yeah, answer this
Absolutely,
question first.
absolutely,
Oh,
for sure.
man.
But could you see how, if you said what you said, it's because here's the thing. You can if you're going on a trip and then
You're
I'm
not her
actually giving
man.
you have no commitment for sure. But here's the thing. You can actually set a standard rather than setting a block. Now, mind you, there's things you can't set blocks on. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely tougher in our society today. I would prefer women that, you know what I'm saying? I've also been broken up by a woman who actually went on the trip.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, like, and this is for somebody who I wasn't sexually doing nothing with her like that. You know what I'm saying? Like to the extent that she probably desired, even wanted naturally, right?
Yeah.
And so she went on the trip. Next thing you know, I'm getting broken up with, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with you, fam. It's happened.
I mean, I wasn't
Right?
mad about it. I just said, hey, like
for sure,
it's not my thing,
But could you see how that communicated to her a lack of trust in her?
Like,
'Cause you honor her as a
not
good
trusting,
woman.
me not trusting her.
Yeah.
Well,
In her perspective.
there's an important detail here. It wasn't her idea. She wasn't going anywhere. I just
For
told
sure.
her in general, like, one of my number one things, when I grew up in Puerto Rico, which is a popular destination spot. I know how these women act, right?
Yeah. And so
My first
telling
kiss
her
was
you
from a
can't-
passport girl. That was
Yeah.
my first kiss,
That's
right?
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's
As a young man, that was
PTSD.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
from a girl that traveled from the United States here,
Indeed.
right? So I know firsthand experience how women act overseas, and I think we all know. We're not,
Yeah, it's, yeah.
For sure.
But the thing is, she went to her friends, and she said, "Hey, and she told me this. I met this guy. He's great, but he's not cool with trips. Women are biologically
Take that.
designed to take information from
Information.
other women and be like,
Design.
their other opinion, right?
Yeah.
Whereas guys were
Yeah.
not. We kind of like make our own decisions when it
For
comes to
sure.
stuff, right? Girl number 2, I'm seeing her tonight. She's a great gal, hardworking gal. She takes care of my dog when I need her to. She's very intelligent. I think she's smarter than me, right? She is also 25, right? I've known her since she was 23. Doesn't want to commit. And I've said, hey, like we've been doing this for a while, She's like, no, I'm fine. I like what we have, right? Another girl, it's the same. These women are not committing, and the thing is, like,
But are you committing?
the thing is, like, the relationship is her problem, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't understand.
Nuke, you pigeonhole yourself to these type
I
of
don't
women.
understand.
Like, this is what
Yeah,
happens.
How are you messing with a woman that
Yeah,
don't want to commit?
No, but here he's gonna lay it on you right here.
Okay,
Why-
I'm waiting
why-
for the leg because I'm like,
because you cannot rob the woman of the privilege and the fun of trying to lock you down. Do you understand me? That is like player game advice, And the thing is, like, you know how
if
exciting.
you want to be a player, not a husband.
But you know how exciting it is for a girl when she meets a guy who's a gentleman, but also has game, has a little bit of status, has maybe a little bit of money, lives in, is a fun guy.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, there's two things that humans kind of conflate, which is approximate goals and like far off goals,
For
right?
sure.
When you meet a girl that's pretty, You don't go like, I'm gonna marry her and have 2 kids. No, your monkey brain goes in and like, man, she look good. I want to get with her, right? Not you specifically, but let's say
For
the
sure.
average dude, right? You don't think about marriage, right? Why would you take away the fun of courtship, right? If there's even any these days, when by implying that, hey, I want to get married as soon as you meet me, I'm gonna make it known that I want to be married. I want to be married, but I want to let the girl have fun within that courtship, whether it be 3 months, 6 months, and be like, hey, I'm chasing you down. I'm doing this thing. This is so much fun. There's nothing
That's what's the
happier,
problem.
right? But
That's what.
there's no woman
This
that's
is the thing.
happier
This
than
is what happened.
knowing that she's found a high value guy and she's slowly roping him in. That's women love that.
No,
But you're talking about a woman who you want to commit, who won't commit to you, and then
Right.
you're still entertaining it.
That's what I'm saying. They don't always like to be roped in. Like, they don't always like to play those games, man. You got to understand, like, certain women who don't play games don't like a guy who plays games. If
Right.
you're the type of guy who's playing games, it's going to end up biting you in the ass. And, like, I understand everything that you're doing because you follow RP theory to the dot. And I'm very purple pill, as I talk about. I'm very good at getting into relationships. I've been in multiple ones. This is something that's very easy for me to do. And I can see a clear distinction between me and you. And the biggest thing is that you establish that, to these women, I have options. I'm this type of guy, all these things. The type of women that come to you and the type of women that only want to have sexual relationships with you or just have like the type of relationship you're having, they're never going to be relationship types of girls because you're filtering yourself to that. If you filtered immediately and told women, like what I teach guys to do and what I teach women to do is you need to find out how far people are looking in the future. If somebody's looking 30 years in the future, then they really give a fuck about things 30 years in the future, whether that's having family, having kids and stuff. So if you sat down on a date and say, y'all can still have fun for 2 or 3 weeks, Nuke, you can still have fun with a girl for a month or 2, but you can still establish on the first few dates that you really give a fuck about the 30 years in the future, whether that's your savings, whether that's having a family one day, whatever it is, you can establish those things. And then later on, a month or 2 down the road, she's going to understand what you want out of your life in 30 years is the same thing as hers. And then she'll want to be in a relationship. But if you don't establish those things early on, you're going to be with short-term women who are thinking short-term. There's some women who think short-term, like everybody today with Instagram and all these dating apps, stuff like that. Everybody's living in short-term mindsets. Find a girl with a long-term mindset. My girlfriend that I have right now, she has a long-term mindset. And like, you don't have to find a girl that goes to there's so many girls out here, bro, who have never gone to my girlfriend has never gone to Miami. She's never gone on a trip with a guy at all. She's 24 years old and has never gone on a trip with a dude. You can find really good women out here that have never even experienced, and they're not even the type that want to go do that stuff. Maybe they don't even have a good friend group. They only have a good family group because they know how fucked up the girls are today. And they don't even want to be in friend groups with these girls that are like this. You can find that. But if you pigeonhole yourself to these women that only want sex or they're thinking short term, that's because that's what you're attracting. You reap what you sow at the end of the day sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of these women are in relationships now, so
Okay.
I wasn't a relationship guy for them.
So my biggest hang up with the red pill community, and this is me personally, and this once again is based on my own experience, on what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've been around. So for a community that speaks so heavily of gender dynamics and understanding that men and women are just different, right? What I'm trying to understand, how is it that men that recognize women think circularly, operate differently, move differently than men, will still communicate to them as if they're men? That makes no sense to me.
Like, you mean yelling at them on podcasts? So
well, that's one example, but like the yelling is the aggression aspect. Like I can be, mind you, we've been men. It's not aggressive,
right?
But I know I don't have to talk circular. I can be direct,
right?
If I'm on my podcast, majority of people, if you look at my podcast, the reason I'm gonna have 15, 20 women show up tomorrow is because we speak for the aspect of them understanding.
Damn, can I come then?
Yeah, absolutely. Pull up, man. You go.
Anybody can come on Sundays. Everybody.
You feel me? Like, bro, like, but what I'm trying to say is like, if I'm talking to men, I'm going to communicate differently to a male audience.
Absolutely.
Now, if I'm talking to women, especially if we're talking about things like marriage and things like the future, a lot of times they don't even know how to communicate what they're feeling. And so it's contingent upon me to help guide and direct that.
Set the frame.
You know what I'm saying? Set that frame. And so, yes, I may be dealing with a 25-year-old girl who is listening to her friends because that's all she knows. But if I'm a man who is a strong base, I can not only set standards and set rules and set things in place and not have to be as direct, but do so through, hey, have you ever thought about this? Man, like, what do you think about this? What's your perspective on this? And then allow her to essentially make her own way to the end, and then if she gets to the end and that's not something you're about, then okay, cool.
Yeah,
but
Because
She can choose to be in your frame or not. She can
Yeah,
choose.
that's
prove
what you said was like they're the weaker vessel, right?
that 100%.
So that's also a part of the emotional part. Too.
Yeah,
You have to think
100%, man. They have to come to that conclusion on their own.
facts.
You know, and
Yes.
that's
a
the
good
one,
way to put it.
You know, they have
That's
to.
good.
But, see, but the thing is a lot of guys, they get their little pee-pee touched a couple
Yeah,
times, and they don't think, right?
That's
And so
fair,
I think
sure.
that's why
That's
the
fair.
red pill content's important, because it's like, whoa, slow down. You don't know what you're signing up for right
Yeah.
there.
For sure.
I think
For
it is important.
I've been
Y'all realize
capping-
it was a woman that came up with that, though, right?
Yeah.
The red pill.
Yeah, women, man, I don't care, man. It's all I know is that it's straightened a lot of dudes out. Now, into y'all's point of view, I can understand the topic of sticking in the Rambo mode, and just being hating women. It's not that
That's
I
not
hate
what-
women.
that's
I
not
love
what-
women.
I didn't even
For
admit.
me, and it's not even about gaming women. It's about looking at a girl right square in her eyes like this and saying, "Hey, this is precisely what I want from you."
Yeah.
And if you can't handle that, I understand it.
That makes sense.
This is what I want, and that's all.
Yeah.
Now, if these are okay with you, perfect. I got you till the wheels fall off. If you can't respect what I want and respect my boundaries, on to the next.
It makes sense.
It's
I got a
literally what
question
happened with the
for
whole
you.
Jonah Hill situation. It was like, for me, I saw those text messages. I was like, I get it. He's like, hey, this is what you want to do. Do that over there.
That's what I
Not
did.
this-
He just
But I
asserted
did
the
it-
boundary
for sure.
too
I did it
late.
too
But
though.
they was
He asserted the boundary too late. You assert
Yeah.
boundaries on day one.
For sure, for sure.
That's what I was saying.
Go ahead, bro.
And we go back to it. So I would ask you this question.
Mhm.
So if you was in his scenario, right? Or because you're saying that you're not getting married again, would you suggest he wine and dine her, so to speak, and then say, this is what I want?
Yeah.
Or would you do that on the front end?
So
You just said you would do that on the front end.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different than him. So, like, how long were you dating her, Nuke?
About like 6 months.
See, like, at about like month 1,
Yeah.
she would know precisely who I
Yeah,
am
that's
as
what
a
I'm
man and what I
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She'd know, hey,
Yeah,
if
6
you
months.
want, if and I have no problem taking girls out to dinner. I mean, I take Lana all the time out. We go spend
Yeah,
$500,
I'm
$600
going to dinner
on.
tonight. Yeah. I'm going
Yeah,
to
let's
dinner.
go. Let's go. You want to go on a trip? Let's go to Vegas. I don't care. It's just money. You can make more. The point is she understands precisely,
Right. Mhm.
what my boundaries are and what I want from her. And if she meets that, we're gold.
But
Agreed.
you're in a place where it's like, hey, I'm done with marriage and I'm playing the field. He's saying he wants marriage.
Yeah,
This is
and
two
so-
different. It's two
And
different
so,
things.
and so, like, to circle back on Nuke now, I would have just said, hey, man, at like month 1, I would have said, like, baby girl, I really enjoyed the time with you. You really need to understand some things about me until you show me.
That's early.
Because if I'm listening correctly, until you show me that you have these attributes that I want in a woman, you will not get my exclusivity.
Yeah. I mean, I gave it my best shot. What happened was,
It's just a little bit different. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
That's
I
how it
went
should
to a
be,
wedding.
though.
I went to a wedding with her and met her friends and family. I flew out to go, because I'm like, maybe
Oh,
this is
wow.
it,
That's fire.
like, and a
Why
lot of
did you
guys,
why did you think? What you mean by maybe this is it?
He liked her.
because,
But I'm saying, but there was no
because the
in,
vet,
in the 6 months, right?
Mhm.
This is not an exclusive girl.
off and on though, it was off and on.
You
6
feel me?
months, yeah.
So it's not an exclusive. So I want to understand, what did the 6 month situation mean? Did this mean that y'all was going to be exclusive?
Approximate goal versus far off, right? I saw her; she looked good.
He said she was exceptional.
Then?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, were you
He raised her up.
right? But I'm trying to ask the question of, did
Yeah.
you think that now she's going to be a wife? Was that the turn? Was that what you were thinking, or you were
I see her
thinking
as
that?
my wife.
Oh, I see her as my wife, or I'm seeing her as an exclusive girlfriend.
She was having casual sex for 6 months with you. It's not very wifey.
Well, the thing is, like, here's the thing,
That's a
right?
good point.
When you're in this dark world,
No, I'm asking you a direct question.
What was the question?
My question is, the 6 months
Exclusive girlfriend.
Okay, so that's what your marker was.
Yeah,
Okay, I want
step
you to
one.
be my exclusive girlfriend.
Yeah, that's step 2, right?
Okay, 6 months is a very long time.
Yeah,
Okay, to say now I want you to be exclusive.
but the
When
thing
in
is,
the
there was
beginning-
a situation
the
where she
beginning-
didn't live in Dallas. She was
That's
just
fine.
traveling.
In the beginning, it doesn't matter. Even in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
you did not communicate what you wanted.
That's
Right,
good.
because
So
there
that's
was no
on-
investment on her part.
It doesn't matter. You
You
still have
set the tone. Yeah.
right.
When
Your
she
friend.
starts acting
No.
like, hey, I like want you, not for fun, which she did at some point, then I was like, hey, great. here dinner time.
I ask a different question. Who's in your council?
My counsel?
In your council?
Counsel.
Like who
you submit
counsels
to.
me?
Yes. Who do you listen to? Because you're not
No
listening
one.
to us, and that's the problem.
I mean, I learned it all by myself. No
And
one
that's
was.
you didn't learn everything by yourself because you had a dad in your house.
Yeah, I mean, he taught me.
Okay, so you
certain
did. So
things.
there you go. So you can't say that you learned it all by yourself. That's not a true statement, right? And so what I'm saying is, it's important for you to have men around you. I'm telling you from a man that's married.
Right.
He's telling you from a man that's single, and he's telling you from a position of a man that has been married 3 times,
Right.
and you still don't listen.
Well,
so you're going to continue with, just like we talked to the women.
Yeah.
You're going to continue to have these issues until you listen to wise counsel.
Okay. I
And
understand.
counsel is explaining to you how you're going about trying to get a wife is incorrect. And you need to change it. Whether you like it or not, it's you.
Right. But there. Okay. I know you guys are coming from a moral standard.
No, not that's not a moral. That's logic.
Well, here's the thing. There's a Rubicon I had to cross, right, in my life. As a
Okay.
guy when a guy finds out that he enjoys women, there's like, I want women, right? It's something that I wanted from ever since I was a little boy.
For sure.
My first crush in middle school, I'm like, I love girls.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get it for years. You couldn't get it in high school, college, maybe, yeah, you know. Military, definitely, because you're always deployed, serving the country all over the world. And you saw how if you got the wrong girl, would ruin your life. So they're like,
Ooh,
yeah.
man, big
yeah.
dose.
For sure.
Here's the thing. I had to cross a Rubicon, right? And here's the thing with women, and this is one of their biggest defects in today's society. They are drawn to men like me. And
Not to be you talking about to be mad?
So,
Okay, go ahead.
so
they are drawn, like when
My
I
bad. Let it
when
finish
I
that
go
thought.
out to salsa night
for sure.
and I come up to a young girl and I hold out my hand and I say, "Quieres bailar?" And I say that, it's like they're drawn. You're right. When I play the piano and I upload videos of me playing the piano, when I have a girl over and I sit her next to me, I'm like, I'm gonna play you a song, right? And when I speak to them in Spanish, when I show up on a date and I dress well and I talk to them and I let them talk and get their emotions out and ask them about their day, they can't help it, right?
For sure.
The responsibility is on me to do the right thing and not hurt them, right? But the thing is, women are chronically bored in today's society.
Amen.
And they are very bored. Like the reason
Why you keep blaming the
Nuke,
woman
Nuke,
for
no,
the
no,
reason?
no, I'm not blaming them. This
I'm
is
about
something.
Okay. So
This is something that's very obvious.
Let him get it out.
Finish it
Go
for
ahead.
me. I want to
Yeah.
let it play. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let it play.
This is something
Let it
that's
go.
obvious, right? Now, there's a lot of moral responsibility on me
For
because
sure.
I can just keep, I don't want to say run through because these girls, they hold my hand in public. These girls cheek kiss me when they see me. These girls call me when they have problems. These girls, I even ask, hey, you're going to the doctor today? I'll go with you. Not all people that enjoy women are monsters, right? Obviously, you guys know that. But I understand where you guys are coming from because that's what my father would say. He's saying that to me all the time.
That's why it's counsel.
I have some friends that have your opinion. I have friends that have your opinion, right? But I am not you guys. I have to make my own decision, right? I understand that when I'm talking to a man that has 4 children and he has the future of the next generation in his palm, or at least a piece of it, just like you do, that you're not going to agree with me, and that's okay.
Well, no, so it's not so much about whether or not you agree with me. That's why, like, when I took it to a base, I was attempting to see, okay, when you make your contract and give your vows,
Correct.
what are
we're going
you
back to
gonna
marriage.
say?
Yeah, we were talking about your position.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
your position because you keep talking about a moral standard and a moral base that you have. When we're saying, what is that? And so when you set your own moral base,
Yeah.
and morally, what you're saying is that women out here are promiscuous. They're run through. They go out and date several guys. No,
They like
never make
guys like
commitments,
you.
etc.
Not all of them, not all of them.
Wait. Yeah, but they like guys like you, and then you're going out and creating those same women.
Right.
Are you seeing that? Like you're actually creating the problem for the next generation.
And Nuke, I need to wake you up to something because a lot of red
I'm
pillars.
just addressing. I'm just
Yeah.
addressing where you're talking about your own moral stand and your own moral base. When you're saying that it's wrong for women to do so, and then you're also making those women, like, you're increasing these women's body counts by dating multiple of them. You're affecting their mental health by dating multiple of them and never committing, and then also asking them to do all these things. Mind you, this is not taking responsibility from the women. Like, they know what they're doing and they're involved in you with you. But
Free will.
yeah,
Yeah.
for real, this their own free will.
Correct.
But they're committing to a guy that doesn't want to commit. And then what's
They're
that
not committing to me. None of them want to be committed.
For sure, but
because you're not giving them the same signs back,
like,
though.
Yeah, for sure. What I'm saying is like they're attaching themselves to you, and you're allowing them to attach to you when you yourself don't agree with how they're acting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, here and also I need
See what
to
I'm
add,
saying? Like-
I need to add this really quick because he's not fully
I see
red
that.
pilled because Luke or I mean Anouk like we're all in the red pill space. Okay, Rollo Tomasi is the one who wrote the Bible. Most people are going based off what the stuff he says. Rollo got all of his stuff from Dr. David Buss.
Correct.
Okay, if you go read Dr. David Buss, Evolutionary Desire, he talks about we both have two different mating strategies. We have a short term and a long term, men and women. Women's long term mating strategy is a beta bucks. It is a dude that's not going to run away after she gets pregnant. You look, you act, you talk like the guy that if she got pregnant by you, if she got married to you, if she had a baby with you, even though you're not the guy that would run away, you move like the alphas that would. So her mating strategy is going to always push her away from a guy like you and go towards the beta bucks guy for the long term because it's safer for her. It's always been that way for hundreds of thousands of years. It's safer for the woman. This is what bothers me about red pill sometimes is everybody isn't even truly red pilled. Everybody is only red pilled based off of the facts that Rollo put out in his book. Nobody goes back and reads the actual source materials on a lot of this shit. But a real red pill is reading all the books on Evo Psych and bringing all the facts together and not cherry picking stats that just make men look one way and women look another. When you really look at all the stats, you will see why the women are acting the way they are with you. You're not her best strategy, bro. Her best strategy is a beta bucks. And I have to teach that to the women on these shows all the time. They're all going to end up with one probably because that's how it works.
Yeah, and understanding, bro, like men who actually have access to multiple women, you are the exception to the rule right now. Right? Like,
yep.
I don't give
I mean, I'm a huge dork. I'm not nothing special.
But no.
What are you talking about? You look like Emilio. What do you want?
No. I'm saying your results show. Like when I'm talking about the red pill men I meet, I'm saying men who can't even get a date.
Right.
But they talk all that trash in the comment section.
Right.
So you're already an exception to the rule. The fact you even have the option to talk to multiple women and then get responses. Bro, that's not even the fact you're actually intimate with them. I'm saying the fact you're actually communicating with multiple women and they're actually reciprocating energy. Yeah. That's rare, bro.
I know.
Like so off rip, you are setting the tone for women's experiences with men. And so all I'm asking is that whatever standard that you're saying morally you're responsible for, lay that out and then see if you're creating the daughters you want in the women you date and you're creating the wives you want in the women you date for the future men.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying there, Street, but I just wanted to say one quick thing.
Talk to me.
Like he said was, these girls, they reach out to me when they got problems. I talk to them. I spend time with them. If they, he alluded that, one girl, like, I need to go to the doctor. Do you need me to take you? So he's actually provisioning his time and attention to her.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's necessarily, he's just not pumping and dumping. And so that's the big problem.
Yeah, I want to address
that's the big problem with a lot of girls is they choose the wrong guy. They get pumped and bumped and utilized. And so, to Sergio's point saying, well, they're all going to end up with a beta bucks. I disagree with that to a point. If you have your standards and you know precisely what you want from a woman, and you're not a beta buck and she's bringing that energy to the table, then you're really not just a provisioning tool for her. She's actually matching your energy in that relationship. So I got to push.
Yeah, no, I just think at the end of the day, like the 40.
Okay, Sergio, beta bucks. Define it.
A beta bucks is just the 80% men. Like I think 80% of men, they're going to end up becoming beta bucks one day. Therefore, the relationship is probably going to be in the woman's frame, and that's it. Like I would say, the frame is in the relationship for the men about 20% of the time. Most of the time, if a woman ends up with a dude that makes her wait to have sex, makes he's basically courting her and doing all this stuff, even though she's not a traditional woman. There's a ton of guys that are going to do that, even if she's 35, even if she's 40. Women are going to always have a second chance, and that's why a lot of RP actually hates women, is because women always get a second chance. A guy who's 40 or 50 and still a loser, he might not get a second chance unless he gets
No.
enough money. He'll be able to trick off, and he'll be able to pay for a woman to be his wife or something. But for the most part, women
Second
always
chance at
have a second.
marriage?
I think
No,
women.
no,
I
just
think women
second
always get a
chance.
second chance
Second chance
at
life.
relationships.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah,
and
because
so-
there's always a loser that will take them. There's always a fucking virgin, dude. There's always a dude. No offense to you, Street. There's always a guy who literally.
No offense to you.
That's messed up.
But you know what I mean. There's
Chris,
always a guy out there
I
though
get it.
that is going to accept that girl even if she has 50 bodies, dude.
For sure.
And because he's going to do whatever it takes to have a baby possibly or have a family. And,
Okay, so
he
you
might get
see
screwed
beta-
over.
okay,
I'm not
that's
saying it's going to be a
okay.
good marriage or it's going to be a good relationship, but I'm saying that they can get something.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's
And so
okay.
Beta
It-
Bucks is getting the leftovers, bro. It's
Yeah.
so it's like you go to the fridge and there's like the heel of the bread and like the last piece of fucking bologna. You know what I'm saying? And he's going provision for that.
Yeah.
He
So
yeah.
gonna
you're saying
pay
that
for
most women. So you're saying that because women.
He was saying most women end up with someone like that.
Yeah, beta
He's
provider, a
saying
guy
it's
that's going to.
not so much so.
Oh, that's what you.
Yeah, and so
yeah,
so,
because
like,
why would a dude
if you
that
have
wants to be married be like, you know what? I'm just gonna. A dude that's trying to get married now is looking at marriage
Depends
totally
how
different.
desperate he is to have his lineage.
yeah,
It just
yeah,
depends
yeah,
how
that's,
desperate
yeah,
he is.
yeah.
Okay.
And so like the thing is girls, inherently, I mean, they have bazillions of options, bazillions.
Bazillions?
Yeah,
Bazillions and
didn't know
bazillions. They
that.
just wake up and there's dicks everywhere. That's just. I mean, you think I'm.
Talking
You
about
think I'm,
sexually in the sexual market, like
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like,
yeah,
I
they-
got
I
you.
mean, dude, literally,
I
there's
got you.
options everywhere. For men, that's not the case. You have
Agreed.
to have status. You have to have your shit together. You have to
No,
have
handful.
finance. You have to have
game.
social network.
Yes,
You
I
have
mean-
to have game. You need to be a man of status to have those kind of options.
I
Kind of like
disagree
with
with
this.
that.
In the words of
I
Patrice
disagree
O'Neill.
with that
You
part.
disagree with that?
In the
Yeah.
words
What?
of Patrice O'Neill. In the
Yeah.
words of Patrice O'Neill.
Bro, the
Everyone knows
average
of
man
Patrice
is not
O'Neill,
enough
right?
for the average woman.
I said if he's handsome and he has swag, he don't really have to have money.
He
Because-
mentioned that.
At
I'm
first,
saying,
Yeah, but
to retain, yeah.
to-
But to retain it might be a little more difficult.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah,
need
to
you need
retain
to
it be
provide
different, but to just
eventually
be able to
if
be
you want to get
smashing.
married. Yeah.
She needs
Like-
that comfort.
Yeah.
He
You're
makes.
talking about marriage.
Yeah, I'm talking about just long-term perspective. Okay, if you're
Okay.
a man of status and you end up with a girl and she's like, okay, he's ticking all of these boxes. He's handsome. He's jacked. He's got business. He's got finance. He's got security.
All the buckets.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Then you have options
Yeah.
as a man.
Yeah.
If-
I got you. I'm with
If
you.
you're jacked but you're broke and you don't have any emotional control or don't even understand what frame
I'm
is
with
in a
you.
relationship, you're toast. You're
Yeah.
going to end up.
You don't have a longevity.
You're gonna
you're
end up
speaking
with-
from a longevity.
Yeah,
Okay, my
You
bad.
got short-term mating, but not
Yeah,
long-term.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you're ended up with the piece of bologna and the heel of
I'm with
heel
you
of a
now.
loaf of
I'm-
bread. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't understand.
Well-
I got you now.
I'll say this: I'm not a good man, and when I say that, like, I'll say that because it's not that I'm good or bad. Because I led men to do crazy things. You know, I used to operate reactors, and I had to coordinate 60 people in one reactor plant to start up, shut down, and operate reactors. Takes a lot of mental energy, right? You could talk to AJ and the Dragons. He used to do the same thing I did, right?
Yeah.
Takes a lot of work, and I had to mentor a lot of young men and a lot of broken young guys. So I have a little bit of experience with leadership, right? But the number one thing I noticed about the guys I would be in charge of, right, is that they didn't need a guru. They didn't need like they didn't need a father figure. They just need an older brother, kind of take them out, kind of like, hey, let's go get some girls. Let's go talk to some girls. Let's go down. Let's go play some ball.
Community.
Let's go to the movies. That's what they need, right? And I always told them, this is who I am.
For sure.
I tell the women implicitly or explicitly, this is who I am. I never once in my whole life looked at all this stuff and said, I'm a good man because I'm doing things my way. I understand what the implications are of what I'm doing, right? I understand that there may be holidays where I'm lonely because I just never locked on a girl. I understand that some men may look at me a certain way because I show up with a different girl every 2 weeks, right? I understand that I may confuse people because while I like to enjoy multiple women, those women are taken care of to a point in my life, right? And if they show bad behavior, just like a friend or a business partner or anything, they're gone, And it's very confusing, especially in the space I'm in now. A lot of people are trying to put, me in a box, right? Whereas I say things on Twitter, but I have women that, are like that hate the red pill. And I'm having a normal conversation face to face, right? But the difference with me is I know what I am, and I don't push it on anyone else. And I feel like at the end of the day, there's a Rubicon I had to cross, and I crossed it. I don't think there's any way back, right? Because yes, I do want to become a father, and I had a great example because of my father, right?
sure.
And I had some great uncles. You know, my uncle, he had 2 girls and 1 boy. The boy is football star at his school, and the girls are graduating college. One's a nurse, and one's I think also in the medical industry, right? Great gals. I love visiting them, and they love me, right? And the thing is, just like when a girl opens her phone and she gets all this feedback saying, and everything she does, she gets feedback, and it kind of guides you toward a certain
Yeah.
behavior and a lifestyle.
Mhm.
A guy that's attractive, better job opportunities, you know, better women. Your friends respect you more. The guys you lead or look up to you respect you more. You get on podcasts. There's so much reward that I'm like, yeah, I want to get married one day, but my life's taken off because I learned how to talk to women and people in general. You know, I learned how to get in shape. I learned how to make connections. I learned how to play music, have cool hobbies, all these things. And it's just like, if I get married, I'm not gonna keep doing those things. I mean, I'm gonna do my hobbies,
For
right?
sure.
But I'm gonna focus on having a family,
For sure.
right? So I gotta reconcile that. How do I reconcile having this part of my life where I'm finally at the value that a 20-year-old girl has? I'm finally maybe a fifth of that, and I'm getting everything I want in life. And now society's like, you have to fix society because um now that you're happy and you finally worked hard and you went through all these ups and downs by yourself, no girl was there.
For sure.
You have to now fix society, the same society you fought against for a decade.
For sure.
But you're also,
Right.
that's what he was
Yeah.
saying, that you're actually creating the society
So
that you didn't want to be a part
before
of.
we go
And I
there,
know there's like a vicious
Yeah.
cycle, but like put
Yeah.
yourself in my shoes a little bit.
oh yeah,
I respect
yeah.
everyone that comes across me. As you know,
Yeah.
the women in my life, if they're crappy, they're gone. I don't like run them through a gauntlet. I don't get in a relationship with them, mistreat them, and then throw them out 6 weeks later or
For
a
sure.
month later, right? I simply, you
Just-
did something nice for me, I'll do something nice for you. We'll keep escalating, and then one day you're gonna be like, hey, what are we? And I'm gonna be like, and this happened. Yeah, you're my girl now. You're my girl.
For sure.
Right. And I still have love letters from all the women that I've dated. And the thing is, at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of men that wish they could be like me. And I'm nothing special. But the reason they want to be like me is because I'm living life on my own terms, not because I'm Andrew Tate or I'm rich or I'm jacked or whatever I am. They just want peace. And that's what I provide. And that's why I say
Okay.
things like, assume, don't obsess.
Yeah.
She's not yours, it's just your turn. Because these things, more than getting girls, more than marriage, the most important thing men have to understand is that if they're not mentally safe here, you know, society, you know, that also makes society go to crap, right?
And you
Because
know, married
look at the
men
school
do better
shooters.
than single men, though.
Huh?
Married men do better than single
In
men
life.
In
Yeah.
life.
So before we go there as well, man, I just want to say, first of all, man, thank you for your service.
Oh yeah,
You know
for
what I'm
sure.
I did it for the money.
No, for sure. But here's the thing: you may actually go into something for something else, but
And get something.
the amount of people that benefit from you doing something, even if your intentions wasn't even as
Yeah.
pure as they were,
That's good.
people can still benefit from that, man.
That's
So
good.
I think it's the positioning you were in. A lot of times, your positioning will naturally benefit others. Like you as a leader that was seeking out money, literally are responsible for lives, and lives were spared.
I mean, you put on the
lives were
uniform and then you
benefited.
realize it later, like, oh, I'm in the
I got
I'm in
responsibility.
the military now. Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta act
you
right.
feel
Yeah.
me? And they trained you to be that man
Mhm.
who you are today.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so I don't, I don't, I always get the ick when I hear men speak of themselves ill. You know what I'm
that's what you
saying?
say
Just
with no good
because
food.
like there's an aspect of your life that other people are saying about your life could improve, and it's like, well, I'm not a good man,
Mhm.
man. Like
Well,
first
Yeah,
of all,
let me reframe that too. Are you? Can I just throw something in there? Because
you can add to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add to
I
what
mean,
Street's saying. I want to reframe that a little bit. It's not that you're not a good man. You're not a good man. You are a good man. You're just not a nice man.
there you go.
Mm.
So
That's what I got that from Johnny Cash. That's what
That's one
Johnny
way to
Cash
say
says. So I'm
yeah,
like, I'm not a good
so,
man. You know,
you are a good man.
I like my
Nuke.
actions speak for me.
Amen. Right
Yeah.
there. But you're not a nice man. You're not going to get took by this world because
No.
you are living it on your terms, brother.
Yeah, I'm living on my
So
terms.
in for sure, man. I got to give flowers to that dude, man.
Yeah,
Especially for somebody that's like
100%.
literally served the country, man. So thank you so much. Along with that, I think that the only thing that I just kind of where I'm at and landing it here is in the midst of you coming to this place where now you've crossed this line where it's like, man, okay, women are actually noticing me now more than they ever have.
Mhm.
I have more money than I've ever had.
Mhm.
I've had more status I ever had. Bro, that is it's a culture shift that is something that requires a lot of responsibility. It's the same thing as somebody winning the lottery, right? When somebody wins the lottery, most times they end up going broke because they've never actually, it's too much, right? Yeah. And so I think for somebody as calculated, as disciplined as you are, and as influential as you are, I think it, from me, as somebody who respects individuals but loves individuals who care about community and thinks about not the future for themselves alone, but also the futures of those around them. Because a lot of times, for somebody that's a leader in the military, you're not just thinking about the weight of your life, you're thinking about the weight of the life of those around you, right? Yeah. And so as you're operating in this world and then developing relationships with women, with people, with children, etc., I would lean towards, let me live in a way that is honoring of the standard I set for myself, and also that standard I set for myself reflects in the people and how I treat them for their future as well. Right. So that's my only thing, man. So like create the women, and mind you, bro, you're talking about somebody who, as much as I'm a battle rapper, you know what I'm saying? I get dissed for being a virgin all the time, bro. There's women's hearts I've broken. There's women I've led on. There's women I've manipulated. There's people I've done things with that I'm regretful of, and I wish I never actually crossed those lines. You know what I'm saying? I also understand there's grace for these things as well, but I was responsible for that, and me recognizing that I have a standard as to which I'm able to even be a hypocrite on, right? And so that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. I have a moral base, and so I would just say revisit that moral base. You know what I'm saying? And as much as you honor your father, chop it up with him, because he may have some things he could actually benefit to your life as well. In you submitting to him in a way that's like, man, like I love the fact that you're investing in my life, Pops, and you hear me say some things about what I want to do. And man, let me hear from where you're at and where you feel like I can grow in this area, because there's probably nobody better in this world to know me than y'all, right? So that's the only pushback I would say.
No, here, I want to go around the table really quick at the end, and we're gonna close it up. I just want to ask everybody's opinions around just really quick. What did y'all think about the show? Y'all want to do this again so we can do more self-improvement? I love this panel, honestly, personally. I loved it, guys. But yeah, Nuke, what did you think, bro? Thank you so much for fucking coming too. This is awesome.
This is the most fun I had in a long time. I like having my beliefs challenged.
You prefer it over 5 women around? It's like the most fun I had. With the 5 women.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, one of them DM'd me after the show.
Oh
wow.
They talk all that stuff, and then afterwards.
But I was respectful the whole time.
Yeah, that's good.
And the thing is, like I said before, I'm not a moralistic person. I grew up in the church.
Indeed.
I got, I learned how to speak Spanish partly by reading I was Telemundo too, but I read the Bible, so I know a little bit. But I made my decision, and as a man, you gotta understand that there's gonna be a lot of people are gonna disagree with you, right? When I go to my apartment and they see me smooching on some girl, and then 2 weeks later that same person sees me smooching on another girl, they're gonna be like, "What the heck is going on?" Right? I haven't been the best I could be to each woman I've met, and honestly, sometimes my standards are a little high, right? But understand too that when you're going through your 20s and everyone is rejecting you, and that's what's happening to men now.
Yeah.
Where I had to tell men not to end it all, right? Over the military. That's very common.
Yeah.
Right. And you think that never happened to me, but you realize that there were days where I was just like, damn, like this is not so great, Yeah. And then you come to this point where you're like, I have a girl saying good morning to me and asking me how my day is.
Yeah.
There's some men that will never get that, or haven't gotten that in years. Right. I have, men that want to meet me and say, hey, what's up, man? I want to get to meet you. Like, some men will never get that.
Yeah.
Who's offering marriage to the guy flipping burgers? You think any girls like lining up? They're lining up, not even for me. Guys that are making more money, maybe Sergio, but like, I'm nothing special. The thing is, I've hacked my way into the system. But the sad reality is, like, there's gonna have to be a reconciliation between men that aren't getting anything, and then the men that are like, I got 3 girls, like one of them wanted to go to Miami, and I said, get out of my life. The other one doesn't want to be in a relationship, so I keep her around. I'll keep her away from other men, so she'll never get married. I'll keep her for me. Like, there's gonna have to be. You see how I talk about myself. I'm hard on myself. I know that what I'm doing is not always moral, and it's not the best thing for society, right? But at the same time, when I was serving in the military, I gave it everything, right? And then there was a point where they're like, we're taking away your license. I'm like, why? Because you made this small little mistake, right? In the nuclear community, you can't make mistakes. And I made one small mistake.
Wow.
So at one point, I'm like, I'm miserable. I'm not getting what I want out of life. I'm happy I served my country, but I got to start living for me. So I changed my life to live the way I am, and I've never been happier. And because I'm happy, I can excel. My testosterone levels excel. My mom is less worried about me. My father, I'm more connected to my father because I'm less argumentative, And one of the things that happens when you're a happy man and you're living life in your own terms, the girls are going to start wanting to know what you're about. And like I said, I'm not a good man or a bad man. I'm just a man, and maybe one day I'll learn my lesson. Maybe I'll be humble dad number 2 one day, and have my own podcast. I'm like, man, I was a knucklehead when I was 34, but for now, it's nice to get asked to dance at salsa night. Like, what can I say?
Bro, I want to come with you to that. It sounds like a lot of fun every time.
You
bro.
guys are all welcome. You guys are all welcome. To come roll with me, but that's just me. I'm not here to moral grandstand everyone. I am who I am.
Yeah.
And I respect everyone, and I know what I'm getting myself into. And if there's psychological issues, I know what I'm getting myself into. So
Yeah, no, dude. Dude, thank you so much for coming, bro.
Thanks.
Like, everybody, please go check out Nuclear. I can't roll my R's. You say the last part.
Kaolillo.
Kaolillo.
Yeah.
I can't say
or
that.
just
shit,
call me
bro.
Nuke for sure.
Yeah, just call him Nuke.
Yeah.
I'm not good at my Spanish, guys. Sorry, I'm not a real Mexican. But no, Phil, bro, what about you? What did you think about the show, man?
Yeah, this is a great show. It's great to meet these two guys. I'd like to connect with them definitely more. Nuke to you too as well, man. And Sergio, thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks.
It's a great time and a great discussion, man. Obviously, we all have the same intent in mind, and that's to make men better men. Give them some tools, hey, some experience. Hey, we've been there, done that, or this is where I've been, and this is where I'm going, and this is how I'm doing it. And I think that that's important. Is when you guys are out there consuming this content on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or wherever, that the content you consume really applies to your life, and it doesn't apply, let it go, man. Let that shit
Don't
go.
overconsume this stuff.
Yeah, don't get angry. Figure it out.
That's
and if
good.
you can't figure it out, reach out to somebody you've seen on a panel or something like that. They have really good insights.
Call your father.
Yeah, call
Yeah.
your father.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Call
Exactly.
Pops.
Yeah.
Excellent job, though. Excellent.
Dude, thank you. So, and everybody, go check out philfosterfitness.com. Go check out his stuff. It is awesome. I've been using all of it. Literally been changing my life over the last month.
Can you break down each because like you have
break them down.
Could you break them down real quick? Just
Yeah,
real
man.
quick?
This is that's my grass-fed protein right here. Grass-fed and collagen. This is a pre-workout that I've developed. It's all natural. It's full of nootropics. There's no chemicals in it whatsoever. This is just a creatine. I brought these for Nuke today. If I run across you guys again, I'll bring you guys some. And you guys into supplements?
Yeah, man.
Well, I come on your show, man. I'll throw down for you. I'll bring you guys a kit.
Y'all,
Say less.
every Sunday he does Blackman do talk, guys. So if everybody ever wants to go watch, or if you're in the Dallas area,
Yeah,
please hit up
I
Street.
invite y'all, man. Like if we start at 7 o'clock, we arrive at 7 o'clock. We start at 7:30. We record every Sunday night, man. It's
live
called
studio,
the
right?
Blacklit Bookstore in Farmers Branch.
Okay.
And we're there. It's Blacklit, all one word. And we're there till around 9, sometimes 10, and just having conversations. Tomorrow's conversation is basically, would you date a woman or single mother who has a terrible kid or bad kid? The question is not at all.
That's gonna be a
because
question.
yeah. So it's just, it was a clip of a man who was like breaking up with his girl a lot in real
I
time.
saw that. Yeah.
And then she was like, you breaking up with me because my kid is bad? For me, I'm like, it's not because your kid is bad. It's because you're not correcting them. Like, you sit there letting them wild out with the silver teeth. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah. So we're having that discussion tomorrow. And like I said, it's a great environment. People feel safe. Women feel safe. Men feel safe to express. And it's a good time. So I'd love for y'all to come through, man. We'll definitely promote your stuff, promote your brand. When you pull up and decide to come through. Street Hymns, I enjoyed tonight, man, as I always have. Purple Pill Podcast, you know what I'm saying? Even the excelling of my podcast has come through a lot of the advice that Sergio's given me. So I appreciate you, man, in the knowledge you've sold into me and how to make my podcast better, man. But this discussion for sure, man, I'm always very, very enriched by just hearing men's experiences, because not everyone is like me. And so me having to humble myself and be in a place where it's like, all right, so how can I understand better, even if not for myself, but to communicate with people on a more personal base that aren't myself, and then know I can reach somebody else who's had a similar experience because I've actually heard this person out and empathize to the point it's like, man, okay, I may not agree with you, but I get why you're there.
You can
know what I'm saying? I
understand.
understand. That's for me. It's understanding. I need to understand because I can't try to fix a problem I don't understand, right? And so if men are struggling, if men are needing to be improved, then we have to first get to the what are men going through? What are men experiencing? How have men been hurt in the past? And then are they reacting out of that hurt? And so for me, man, I'm always trying to learn for myself so I can be a better man as well. You know, I've been challenged, and just through this podcast alone, I'm going to go get a blood test. You know what I'm saying? Because
Good for you, man.
I need to know my T levels. You know, because I've never done that.
Yeah.
You know, but we definitely have access. You know what I'm saying, with what we have. So man, yeah, I'm excited to do that now.
Dude,
Excellent.
Dude, thank you so much, Street. Humble Dad, what'd you think, bro?
Well, I ain't really like the show.
But tune into mine, though. We got.
I'm trying not to be the same as everybody, but I mean, I've enjoyed it because I enjoy dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm analytical, so and then I'm a father, right? And then I'm a teacher and an educator. So it felt like I was jumping on him. That's what it felt like in my mind. Right?
No, you're fine, man.
I know I'm fine, but I'm saying this is how.
I love Humble Dad, bro.
But I'm saying this is a conversation that I would probably end up having with my sons. I have two sons and I have two daughters, right? And so I'm coming from that frame of reference. Like when I said something like, "Okay, I figured out he's not going to listen to us." I said, "Okay." So then, hopefully, he has somebody that he will at least have some counsel, because even the giants have a counsel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you need to have, even myself.
Even Elon Musk, he has counsel.
Yeah, right. So you need somebody that's going to be able to say, okay, you're out of line or you're in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to you for even recognizing where your gaps are, because most of us don't realize where our gaps are.
Yeah.
Right. My gaps are, even though I say I'm Humble Dad, that's my name. I struggle being a dad, you know, because I'm trying to do so many things, you know, as a dad. You're trying to figure out your time. You're trying to figure out how much time do you need to dedicate to your job, to your wife, to your kids, to your hobby. So that's why I struggle, and so that's why I brought my kids, because even though I'm not with them, as you can see, but they're close by, and they know that daddy's right here, right? So with that being said, I enjoyed the conversation, because when I'm talking to any of y'all, I'm looking at a person that I probably would have a conversation with at a different point in time. So that's how I view it. So on my podcast, we talk about family relationships and in fatherhood, you know, but it could spear off and be a combination of anything, right? And my goal is to promote marriage, because I see what it's done for me, but I also see what it's done when it was done well. Right. So so that's how I come from. That's the frame that I come from. Right. And so will everybody be married? Will I reach everybody? No. It's the same way as in teaching. If I'm teaching math, is everybody in my class gonna get it? No, but I know that if I teach one, this is how I look at it, that I literally change the generation of people. Right? Because that person is going to get married and they're going to have kids, and what I taught them will be a change in direction. Is which what he was communicating before. And so, yeah, shout out to Sergio for even making this thing possible, right? For us to, as men, to talk, and I not have to talk to a woman necessarily, and then she feels belittled. Right? I can be direct, and I can speak. We can speak however passionately we want to, and not be offended, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate being able to be a man amongst men.
Yeah.
And we do live shows virtually Monday nights at 9:00 Central.
Guys, check out Humble Dad, guys. He's one of my favorite people from the Lapeef Network. I love you coming on the show, bro. I want all of y'all guys, please, I want any of y'all to come on with the girls anytime over the next month. I'm going to try to schedule any of these guys to come on, guys, so we can have more of them. We're going to bring Dallas up. We may disagree on small little things, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. Like you said, we're all trying to help men. And if we even look politically, I think that we would probably be all pretty close to each other, whereas we want to make the world a better place in every aspect. It's not just men. It's in every, because what did we say? Men build the environment. So we need to make the environment better all around. So guys, I really can't say thank y'all enough for coming. This was probably one of my favorite. This is definitely my favorite men's improvement show. And it's just we got to talk about so much. It was definitely way different than any other show we've had. I just can't believe how separate or different everybody was here with Nuke and what he's doing in his life, being single, and like having multiple girls, like Phil with you and how your life is and your relationships and how you've been married before, Streets with everything that you've gone through with all the leadership skills that you have and everything you do for men in Dallas and stuff, especially young men. These are skills that we don't. The skills at this table, it's insane how much skill is at this table right now. Humble Dad, everything that you do with your family, like we're all so different. We all came from completely different walks of life in Dallas, but we're able to come together and really help men right here. And I cannot say enough how thankful I am for that. And thank y'all all so much. I can't wait to see y'all again. Everybody in the chat, let me read these last two. I think there's 2 super chats really quick. Let me read these really quick. $2 from Don Juan.
They was debating in the chat, man.
Yeah, they were.
They was going at each other. So you marry somebody that's 30, it's like, well, just wait till you're 40.
If you really want marriage, wait until she's 30s. Don Juan, really? I'm surprised to hear you say this, Don. Thankful for women who paid for my things. Oh, man.
Is that a Drake line?
I don't know. But
It sounds like something Drake would say.
You just
Dude.
dropped something, right?
yeah, right. Don, I'm so happy you gave me the money after she gave it to you. You gave it to me. No, thank you, bro. But no, thank y'all so much, guys. We will see y'all again on what is today? Saturday. I'll see y'all guys on Monday. Maybe I can get one of these guys in coming on the Monday show. We'll see. If not, we'll have one of the mentors from my mentorship that will be coming on. But yeah, guys, I appreciate everybody. We will see y'all on Monday. Peace the fuck out.